Benjamin Dixon Show is only possible with listener support. Go to www.patreon.com/The BPD Show.
Good morning. The more we cover these stories, the more we realize that there are so many connecting threads through every single thing that we're experiencing in this country as Black people. The more police reports that we see are telling lies instead of facts, but being reported by the news media as facts instead of the lies that they are, the more we realize that pattern plays itself out in every single city, with every police shooting, with every incident of redlining, with every incident of exploitation. We see a pattern connecting all those threads. And that pattern goes all the way down even to our DNA. The shared trauma that we have as Black people in this country, suffering underneath so many things, the least of which not being capitalism and white supremacy. We'll discuss all of that and more throughout today's episodes. But first, we're on the clock with Georgia Ford.
Good morning. I am independent journalist Georgia Ford. And as Benjamin said, we're also seeing those patterns in healthcare as well. This morning, we're going to take a look in Michigan, where they're trying to do what they can to create equity throughout our healthcare systems. In Michigan, they have announced that now implicit bias training will be a requirement for all healthcare professionals. It's something that was announced by the Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who says he wants to do this in effort to combat racial disparities in healthcare. Now, exactly how will this be regulated? The Department of Licensing is going to require upfront, in order for you to get your license, that you take a 2-hour implicit bias training course. And then each year after that, when you renew, you'll have to go back for an additional 1 hour of training. Oh, we've heard a professor from Harvard, the professor of public health, Dr. David Williams, talk about just how important it is to combat this. Take a listen.
The typical healthcare provider, I had many talks to medical, nursing, and other health professional groups after the Institute of Medicine report came out. And the typical healthcare provider in the United States would say, I would never do that. I would never provide less pain medication to a Black patient than a white patient. Whereas the evidence is clear that Black patients get less pain medication with similar levels of conditions. So the first thing is to realize that could be me, and that people who have implicit biases are not bad people. They are just reflecting the culture and the beliefs that they were raised with.
Morning, Vice President of Children's Minnesota, and Brandon Jones, who is a psychotherapist and professor as well. I know both of you have really studied professionally the impacts that these racial disparities are not just having within the clinics and the hospitals, but how they're impacting people's day-to-day lives and their health. James, I'll start with you. Why is it important for something like this to be mandated by law?
I think it's important. First of all, good morning, Georgia. Good morning, Brandon. And congrats, Brandon, on your new role. So I look forward to working with you at Children's Mental Health, first and foremost. I think it's important for a couple of reasons. One is it's about quality of care for our patients and families. And if we want to have quality of care, we have to make sure that nothing is getting in the way. So if implicit biases are getting in the way of proper pain medication for sickle cell patients like my daughter, Teresa Ann Burrows, I want to make sure that we address that by implicit bias training. If implicit bias training can also get out of the way of police and or security being called on Black and brown families because they may raise their voice a little bit to a doctor or a nurse, but not arguing, not argumentative, but something that our nurses or practitioners haven't seen, I want implicit bias training. If we're not giving what we need to do as far as addressing the social determinants of health for food security, and through employment opportunities and through housing, if we're not doing those things for the needs of our families, I want to make sure that we address it by not only implicit bias training, but creating access. But I would be remiss if I didn't say this. Systemic racism is the foundation or the cause of all of this. So we can't just do implicit bias training on and by itself. We have to have and have to address the systemic issues of racism within the system in order to make sure that implicit bias is going to make a difference.
Absolutely. And Brandon, with your area being more in the mental health realm, are you seeing these same disparities show up in your profession as well?
Absolutely. And it definitely affects the way that people are diagnosed from a mental health and a chemical health level. Some people are misdiagnosed, some people are overdiagnosed, and that affects treatment. That affects what type of medications you may be offered. It affects what type of placements you may be offered. It affects how insurance is charged. And we know that those are all barriers that show up in Black and brown communities across the United States. So this is a major problem. I don't think that 2 hours of training is enough. I think this needs to be a continuous thing. And even given the pushback just to the 2 hours initially and the hour afterwards every year is very eye-opening and eyebrow raising. And we have to be able to say, what is this really about? Because everybody has bias, and we should be, as professionals, we should be addressing those biases so it doesn't get in the way of our care, especially because a lot of us professionals swear oaths within our profession to make sure that people get high standards of care. And unfortunately, people find that, dealing with racism, talking about culture, ethnicity, and just race in general is a struggle, and it shouldn't have to be a struggle. There's one more thing that I want to mention. It also has an impact on the patients or the clients, because they feel that, they see what's going on. They see that they may be getting treated differently. And that affects what? That affects our ability to pass on information. We might not have a primary care physician or something of that nature. And we start to look at the healthcare system as an object in our way, and we don't get the best possible care for ourselves, which ultimately affects that social determinants of health, which affects our lifestyle and our lifespan.
Brandon, you said it's not enough.
Right.
It's not enough to simply just do 2 hours of implicit bias training. And I know that, James, you speak nationally. You speak to hospitals all around the world about different ways to combat racial disparities within the healthcare system. So if 2 hours of implicit bias training is not enough, what are other things that we can do? And then I think from a patient standpoint, right, like at some point, all of us have to go to the hospital. And I just feel like most of us who are Black or brown, we're at a place in our nation where we are in fear to go to the hospital. Some of us, I've heard this saying, doctors are to Black women what police are to Black men. And so I do think that Brandon brings up a very good point here of just like, 2 hours of training and everything will be okay. But we're still seeing these disparities persist, even in hospitals in cities and states where this has already been implemented. And so James, I'm just wondering if you know of other things that people can do in order to really start making some headway at eliminating these disparities in our healthcare system.
Right. And that's the 20 million, 30 million, 50 million, billion-dollar question. But I'll give you my 2-cent thoughts. One, as Brandon said, you got to embed it in the system of the work that we do. So hospitals are about quality of care and also safety. So if someone was misdiagnosing folks or putting in a blood draw and doing damage to patients and families, we would address it through what we call safety and learning reports. People can report that, we address it, we change the system. At Children's, we're doing the same thing with emotional harm. So if there's something happening in the treatment of our patients and families that deal with emotional harm, and sometimes that's racism, sometimes it's gender bias, sometimes it's other types of bias, we address that. You can fill out a safety learning report. Now, we need to get better because right now, those reports are filled out by employees about patient issues. We want to address them through employees being able to do the same. We'll take those reports, address it like we would a safety issue, get all the players involved that need to be, and address it by changing the system in order to address the quality of care. So that's one area, that safety learning report. Another is we partner with the Atlanta healthcare system, and this amazing Black woman, Dr. Lisa Saul, heads up the Mother Baby Center for us. And what she did recently, and what we did collectively as Children's in Atlanta, is revamp the entire way in which we care for patients and families, but especially Black moms. As you said before, Black maternal health is abysmal in the sense that we are killing Black babies on a regular basis and no one's alarmed about it. We are making sure that Black mothers are scared of coming to the hospital to have births because of our treatment. Well, she said we're going to change that. She has a daughter. I have a daughter. We are on this collective journey together by addressing the system, by building into the system, not only implicit bias training, but making sure that we're partnering with agencies, with Brittany Wright, agencies with other folks as well who are addressing Black maternal health care, and partnering with them, because if we don't know something that's occurring, we need partners to making sure that's happening. We also went out and we did some marketing changes to how we were recruiting and getting Black families in. We also hired a young Black woman to do those marketing materials, to do that collective work about connecting to community. So that's another thing, partnering with the right agencies and partners. We also partner with the African American Leadership Forum, which in Minnesota is an organization doing great work in community. We're not community at Children's. We don't know community. I do personally, because I've been here a while, but others don't. So we're partnering with those right people. So that's another thing. The other thing is to call it what it is. It's racism. So don't call it implicit bias and say that, yeah, we're going to do implicit bias, but George Floyd was murdered 12 blocks from Children's Hospital, but we're talking about implicit bias. We're going to do implicit bias, but we have families that are concerned about racism and how a family could be able to say to someone, I don't want any Black people to take care of me, and somebody to take that seriously and not address it in a comprehensive, systemic way. We got to admit that our systems have failed. And if we don't admit that, we will end up doing what we do now. We're trying to get COVID vaccines to our families, Black families in Minnesota. I think they're receiving them about 45% rate, whereas white people are getting them at 70%, because what you mentioned earlier, their fear of the healthcare system, lack of trust of the healthcare system, lack of partnership. We can't do it the same way that we've done it for everyone else. So I think those are some of the areas, Georgia. I have many more that I can think of and talk about, but partnering with organizations like Brandon, we have a mental health crisis for our kids, and especially our kids of color. Why would I try to go out there and do it on my own? I'd say, hey, Brandon, let's partner together. How do we do that for inpatient healthcare with our pediatric physicians?
Absolutely. And I think about how can patients protect themselves? Like, we put so much faith in this system and these entities and corporations. But before we go into that, I want to bring Benjamin Dixon into the conversation. Ben, I know that this is something that you're extremely passionate about, and having a family yourself being impacted. What are your thoughts as we're thinking through all of this and talking through all of this?
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. I'm taking all this in because it's just confirmation of the reality. Sometimes we feel isolated in these experiences as Black people, Black men specifically. We feel isolated, but so it's good to have the conversation and to understand that we're not the only ones that are going through this on both sides, where there's a fear of the system, the healthcare system, because of historical things. But then there's also the reality of how we've been treated when we go to these doctors' offices, and how women are treated when they go, Black women specifically, and the disparity. So it's really important that we have these conversations nationally so people can understand how connected we are in these experiences. My question is regardless of what came first, the chicken or the egg, the offense or the fear, how do we successfully unravel it? And do you think that this type of diversity and inclusion styled kind of flavored attempt that's happening in Michigan, do you think that's a decent first step?
I do. I think it is a step. I don't say it's a decent first step. It is a step, but really the work is in community. The work is in getting adequate information to folks who do not access these services all the time, and making sure that people feel connected to these healthcare systems. Primary care physicians are extremely important. Unfortunately, so many Black people go to emergency rooms for their healthcare for things that they should be just getting checked on a regular basis. So we have to re-educate the community and invite them into these spaces so that there is a sense of trust, because that trust was broken a long time ago. It continues to be broken when we have negative experiences in these healthcare systems. Emergency rooms are great, but they're not there for your primary care needs. And unfortunately, that's how we have accessed healthcare.
That's right.
Yeah. And Benjamin, answer your question. It's a first step. Whether it's decent or not means it has to be coupled with something else. So at Children's, my other step is I have a 34% hiring goal for all of our hires will be people of color. So every year I'm gonna have 34% people of color come in. So my workforce will look differently than it has before. So when you come in as a family of color, you will see people who look like you. I also have that for physicians and nurses as well, because we are abysmal when it comes to that. I also have a supplier diversity goal. We're going to spend at least 20 to 30% of our monies with Black, Latino, Native, Asian folks on a regular basis. So we're going to invest in the community as well. That's another step in addition to the training. Training to me is like the last step. Like, training is great. You can do some training. If people feel good about that 2-hour training, like, ooh, that was great, it's something wrong, because you shouldn't feel good about 400 years of oppression. You shouldn't feel good about racism that occurs daily. You shouldn't be cool about hearing about Tuskegee for the first time or Henrietta Lacks for the first time and being like, oh man, I enjoyed that training. Sometimes I don't want you to enjoy it. I want you to feel what you feel about it, and then say, I'm going to do more than just training. I'm going to hire some folks. I'm going to do some partnerships, and I'm going to do some things that invest in the community as well. My favorite is, if a company says we're going to do something different about George Floyd because racial inequity happened. We saw it on TV. When you look up and they're spending 0.1 of their budget in the Black community. That's not doing anything. That's lip service. So I'll get on my soapbox, Benjamin, but I'm real passionate about what we got to do other than just training as well.
Ooh.
Well, and if you guys are just joining us, that is Vice President of Children's Minnesota, James Burrows, as well as psychotherapist and Professor Brandon Jones. You guys, there has been a lot of violence across the country. Violence in terms of police killings, violence in terms of white supremacists acting against Black people, like we saw here in Minneapolis just over the weekend, where a white supremacist drove his car into a protest for Winston Smith and killed a woman. We're also seeing violence, community violence, where it's Black people shooting and killing other Black people. And I'm very concerned about the mental health of our country, especially the Black community, in light of all of this violence that's perpetuating against us from basically, it feels like everywhere. It just feels like there's no refuge. There's no safe space. And so, Brandon, I want to pick your brain about that. But to give a little more context, Deanna Marie is actually the woman who was killed over the weekend. If you take a look at this photo, I believe we have it on file. You can actually see the damage from the vehicle. It's going about 100 miles per hour when it crashed into the group of folks. And it's okay if we don't have it. We can post it later. But, there was a ton of folks who were on the scene when this happened, including a lot of young people. You're talking people between the ages of 16 to 24 who witnessed this horrific violent crime, and also who, now are internalizing that. How do we identify when we're having mental health issues, and what should we do about it, Brandon? If we're seeing, hey, I'm processing all of this stuff, and maybe I'm not doing a good job at processing it, being exposed to that much trauma. How should we identify when maybe we're in need of mental health services? Yeah.
Some traditional telltale signs that we're in need of some traditional mental health services is when our behaviors start to shift, our day-to-day behaviors and functioning start to shift dramatically. So things like sleep. So you may get 6 to 8 hours of sleep typically, but now your sleep has significantly reduced to like 3 hours, and you're up watching live streams and catching up on news and things like that. Or maybe you sleep a little bit too much, or your appetite sways in one direction or another. Those are usually telltale signs that something's not wrong. You can't go to work, or you can't go to school, you can't get out of bed. These are some of the typical things that you have so much mental anguish happening for you that it's time to make a shift. But there are also in a lot of communities where folks have been going at that rate for so long that it has become normalized, and you can't tell that anything is different. And when usually what happens in those situations is other people around you start to point at you and ask you, you good? Like, what's happening? What's going on? And we have to receive those signals and those messages to say, maybe I'm not all good. Maybe I am overworking myself, and maybe I should go speak to someone and get a little bit of additional help. And those are usually some of the telltale signs. But just in general, we are being bombarded with so much different, just messages on Black pain, Black trauma, and it is overwhelming. And I think that we need to do as much as we can to limit those signals and those things that come into us, because it is overwhelming. And just like this young woman who was out, protesting another heinous crime that we've had here in the Twin Cities, unfortunately lost her life because someone was not able to self-regulate and handle their own hatred and figure out other ways to deal with that pain that they may be going through. So they let it out on a group of folks, and unfortunately we lose another life. At some point, we have to look at this as a mental health crisis and a public health crisis, that that this violence is happening from so many different angles. It's not just black on black crime. It is also white folks who are getting to a point where they don't know what else to do but to lash out. And we have so many different examples of that.
I'm listening and I hear some of the same trauma that that happens in this system on a regular basis, just with our 9-to-5s, living paycheck to paycheck, and the fact that some people aren't getting sleep because of their work. And you look at the two things that Black people have had to survive. We're not only having to survive racial trauma, but we're also having to survive, let's just call it economic trauma, capitalistic trauma. And this really does put us in precarious health conditions. And it's become almost, like you said, it's become a part of who we are, not only culturally, but there's some studies out there that say that some of this trauma can actually impact us on a DNA level. Could either of you even speak to that a little bit for us?
Yeah, it's called epigenetics. And we do have these epigenetic tags from stressors from our ancestors, from our parents, from our grandparents, who have gone through various different heinous things, traveling from the South to the East Coast, to the North, to the West, escaping racial trauma, escaping poverty, looking for another opportunity in the big cities of Cincinnati and Chicago's, Milwaukee's and St. Louis's and DC's and all this. That stress does get carried on. There is research that says that when a mother is stressed, when her baby is in utero, she can pass her stress hormones down to the child before the child is even born. There's also studies recently that came out that said when fathers are stressed, they can pass on their stress hormones through their semen when they conceive a child. So we know, if we look at just the history of African-American folks in this country and the stresses that we've gone through, imagine how much stress is being passed down when we are conceiving children. And then those babies are growing up in environments that continue to fester that type of stress. So what ends up happening is the epigenetic connection from generation to generation is passed down, plus you're adding on another complex layer given the things that happen in community. There's another thing with epigenetics, though. It's not just the biological component. It's also the cultural component when we are adapting behaviors and we're adapting into these environments to cope with these stressors. A lot of times those are unhealthy things. Overcompensating with alcohol, overcompensating with drugs, overcompensating with violence. We utilize overcompensating with sex. We utilize these things to kind of calm our nerves, but there are very short bursts of calming our nerves. The dopamine that gets released inside of our bodies, it's a very short thing. It's almost like a hit of a drug, and you need that repetitively over and over and over again. So it's this combination of both social factors and biological factors of stress and trauma that gets passed from one generation to the next.
So we getting hit from every direction. We getting hit through
every direction.
We getting through our DNA as well as through the culture around us. We getting hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we get hit, Benjamin. If we go to the hospital to get it checked out, we're gonna add some more racism on top of that for you, some more stress. So we get
a new trauma tag
from the person who's giving you the solution. So, and that's why healthcare systems like mine have to step up. We're gonna spend quite a big investment in inpatient behavioral health at Children's in our strategic plan in the next couple of years, because we've seen our patients and families, especially our pediatric patients, not be able to deal with this stress, and they're coping, as Brandon said, in ways that aren't healthy. So we said, okay, we're going to create an inpatient behavioral health unit around that, and we're going to commit to diversifying the providers within there. A lot of this is about culture, and cultural ways of dealing with stress may be a shocker to somebody who's not from that culture, not from that race. So we have to not only educate implicit bias, we have to hire providers and other patient care facing folks who look like our patients and families who have those same experiences. That's what other healthcare systems have to do to address this. And I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this too. I mean, I was so stressed on Friday that I needed to just take a break, and I did for a half second, because I went to the barbershop over in North Minneapolis, where I normally go to on a Friday, get my man Tito to cut me up and line me up and those kind of things. And he said, James, JB, there was a shooting at the funeral at Bishop Hollis Church up the street. And I said, say that again. You said shooting at a funeral. And he said, yeah, there was a shoot up of a funeral. Somebody was shot and killed at a funeral. There are no more sacred places anymore. And I'm not saying that violence should be condoned at any means, but growing up in Detroit, I knew where the violence was going to be. It was around drug deals. Yep, violence going to be over there. Around other stuff happening, violence will be over there. But now you're at a funeral. Somebody decided it was okay to go shoot up a funeral, and then whoever got shot at the funeral, randomly, it could be anybody else, that was okay. I don't know how you process that as a grown 53-year-old, no less a kid or somebody who's adolescent as well.
Right.
So we got to make sure that we're addressing that in our community as well. And those are vestiges of racism too. The really we don't feel good about ourselves is because we've been taught to not feel good about ourselves. We've been taught to hate each other. We've been taught not to love each other. We've been taught not to be there and have three black men on this thing talking about our feelings and our behavior. Typically, it'd be, no offense, Georgia, the woman saying it, and we'd be like, yeah, we good, I'm gonna be strong. I'm gonna be black man, I'm gonna be strong. We have to get past that and have genuine conversations with us as brothers for these families and community to come together.
No, you're right. No offense taken at all. I know we're almost out of time here, but one more question for you, Brandon, here. What can we do individually? What can we do collectively to address the stigma that has existed in the Black community surrounding mental health services?
Well, we have to normalize healing. And we have to normalize what I mean by that is, unfortunately, I believe that we've normalized pain and trauma, and we expect it. At one point in time in our community, we called the culture the struggle, and we've lived that out over the years. We have to start moving to a culture of thriving and healing. That should be our mantra moving forward, not just Black Lives Matter. Healing and thriving is who we are as a people. And what I mean by normalizing it is we have to role model behaviors of taking care of ourselves to the folks that are on our level and the folks behind us, the young people. And that might look like getting adequate sleep. It might look like connecting with one another and making sure that we're good. It might look like sharing meals once again, now that we're moving, through COVID-19. It might just be looking like, having sacred spaces. As James talked about, there are spaces that used to be sacred that aren't. Funeral homes, barbershops, beauty supplies, places and things of that nature, grandma's house. All these places are dangerous, and we have to start cultivating areas and spaces of healing within our community. And honestly, I think one of the biggest things that we can do is get informed and start having a mission surrounded around our children, for our children to have better opportunities in our environments. Right now, everybody has a different idea of what we need in our community, and not a lot of people are focusing on what our children, providing a healing space for our young people to actually be cultivated and developed so that they can be in the society without feeling like they're going to be the next hashtag.
James, do you want to touch on that before we wrap up?
Sure, just real quick. And we have to listen to our children to create that space. We can't say, this is what I did back in the 70s and the 80s, and this was what worked for my baby that I was raising. No, listen to the young people who were at that rally, who saw that woman die. Listen to what they need, and then provide that healing with them, not to them or for them, but with them. So that makes it sustainable, because when I leave the block and they're on the block by themselves, I want that 16-year-old to talk to that 13-year-old and do that same healing together when I'm not there. So just listening and partnering with our young people to make it happen.
James, Brandon, I want to thank you so much for joining us this morning. We, I think, have had a meaningful conversation regarding eliminating the racial disparities in the healthcare system. I feel like we could go on and deeper on so many different, like we touched on so many things, the historical racial disparities with what happened in Tuskegee, the implicit bias testing that's now starting to be a part of training, the stigma, like we've touched on so many things, and I know we could go deeper, but we are on the clock. So I will let you two get to work. Benjamin, thank you so much for joining us in this conversation as well.
Well, thank you, Georgia. And have us back. We'll
absolutely.
come back and talk again. So
don't be surprised.
A little later in the day, though.
Good morning, everybody. Music will be coming on the screen soon. Y'all stay tuned. Like another's coming up.
Say you love me, then you take it back. Say it again, say it again. You want my forgiveness, so say it again. You're my thunder of my darkest night. You just can't go back and make it right. 'Cause it's too late, your time is up. Damage done and now it's stuck. 'Cause it's too late, you roll the dice, and now you have to pay the price. Yeah, I'm in a better place now. I'm not gonna worry, no, I'm not even sorry, gonna be the lonely one. I'm in a better place now. I'm not gonna worry, no, I'm not even sorry, you're gonna be the lonely one. Say it again, say it again.
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. Like it or not, it's starting soon. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. Y'all get y'all coffee, y'all drinks, y'all tea, whatever it is you need to get your morning started. It's like it or not, y'all. We going down.
I could feel it breaking deep inside. 'Cause it's too late, your time is up. Damage done and now we're stuck.
Good morning, Ma. Right Church, wrong pew.
'Cause
Good
it's
morning.
too late,
Brother Chuck Beasley.
you roll the dice, and now you have to pay the price. Oh, I'm in a better place now. I'm not gonna worry, no, I'm not even sorry, you're gonna be the lonely one. I'm in a better place now. I'm not gonna worry, no, I'm not even sorry, you're gonna be the lonely one. I'm in a better place now. I'm not gonna worry, no, I'm not even sorry, you're gonna be the lonely one. I'm in a better place now. I'm not gonna worry, I'm not even sorry, you're gonna be the lonely one. I'm a little bit naughty, I'm a little bit too consumed, but every part of my body is telling me to run away from you. Come a little bit closer, yeah, yeah. Come a little bit closer, yeah.
Brand,
You're a
good
little
morning.
bit crazy. It's been days, but you never change. What's love got to do with it? He comes around, better knock that stuff down. Come a little bit closer, yeah, yeah. Come a little bit closer, yeah. To all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right.
Good morning, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all come on in and get settled like it or not. Going down real soon. Brenda Johnson, good morning. Tyler, brother, good morning, y'all.
Bye bye.
Shout out Alicia, good morning.
Bye bye. You're a little bit selfish. You get mad every time you lose. You can't take me with you. I'm scared you're gonna blow your fuse. Come a little bit closer, yeah. I can really start over, yeah. In the back of my mind, there's someone waiting on me. You're just wasting my time because you're scared and lonely. Finally got some closure.
Marcus, good morning.
Yeah.
Struther Dragon, good morning, good morning.
Yeah. To all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat
Get you some
them right.
Drag, yeah,
Put
appreciate
your
you.
finger right
Savage
in his
sweetheart, good
face and
morning.
tell that man bye-bye. I'm too fly. I'm too fly. Bye-bye. 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 Here's to the memories. Cheers to who used to be. Your friend said that you left me.
Bob, that shit is a real thing.
I'm glad that's what you believe. So all my ladies who got a brother that doesn't treat them right, put your finger right in his face and tell
outside our brother Latif. Good morning.
Cause I won't be here alone. No. You don't know what you got. You don't know until it's gone. You don't know what I am worth. Your words are like bullets now. Sometimes they hurt. I stay high when bullets fly. Out of reach, won't be coming down. I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it ends. You got a chip on your shoulder, and I don't need to pretend. Yeah, we are alright, alright. We'll spend the night tonight. I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till this ends. You got a chip on your shoulder, and I don't need to pretend. Yeah, we are alright, alright. We'll spend the night tonight.
Sophia, good morning, good morning. Look at you, got me blushing and stuff. You better stop.
I just wanna get lost. It's the only thing I wanna do. I wanna forget where I came from, where there's no getting over you. I am fine by myself, 'cause I won't be here alone. No.
Make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, y'all. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Like It or Not So. Instagram and Facebook at Like It or Not So, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, subscribe, share, comment, all that good stuff, man. It's Like It or Not. We're going down. Stay tuned.
Sometimes they hurt.
Lonzy, good morning.
I stay high when bullets fly.
Gene Brown, good morning, good morning.
Reach won't be coming down. I can't wait till it's over. I can't wait till it ends. You got a chip on your shoulder.
Daniel, good morning, good morning.
Talk to me nice. Talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes. Don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy. Make me believe it.
Lady D, good morning, yo. My pleasure, my pleasure.
I wanna see how rewind when we rewind. Feels so nice. With time, you I know how to make me feel right. I can't help how this sweet talk. I'm already on my way. I'm pulling up, don't be late. I'm cutting through all the lanes. Sweet talk.
Take y'all to the islands for a minute.
No need for no flowers, babe. I'm already on my way, on my way. Why you blushing? Yeah, sweet concussion. Oh,
Rosie
you
B, good morning, good
miss my
morning.
touching. Good deal. Show me
All right, y'all,
something,
it's time for the best damn morning show out there, y'all. It is time for Like It or Not. So pull your chairs up, get your coffee, get your tea. It's about to go down.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, people.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Like It or Not, where we are free.
To tell the truth
And not
who
care.
doesn't like it.
Who doesn't
It's just
like
a
it?
lot happening in my shop. Like, what?
You
It's
got a lot
giving me
going on
like
over there.
I thought
retro
it was
vibes a little
good.
bit.
Who, me? My outfit?
No, like
Yeah,
the
well-
camera. It's
It's,
like
it's giving.
And if you add on the colorful, the rainbow color Benjamin Dixon show that's stuck on top of it, it's like
it's
like
retro.
it's like a pre-acid trip going on right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is
Not that
it okay now?
No,
It's just a lot.
the color's popping now. Whatever you just
Yeah,
hit,
it's
the
pop-
color is
yeah.
popping.
It's good.
My bad, y'all, but good morning.
Morning.
How are you? It was just, trying to get it together. You too, Bubba. You're not giving enough light this morning. Why are we Monday into
Yeah, I
Tuesday?
I don't
right
know
now.
what's going on.
It's
I'm looking
giving
like,
dim.
man.
It's giving dim in the background. It's giving dim in the background.
Right.
But, ooh,
I gotta be mindful of what's on my desk. Hang on, let me move this. I
Yeah.
need to move.
because people
We
be
saw-
like this
We
in
saw
your
your porn
background.
browser history yesterday, Ben.
Hey, you know, one thing I'm good for though. One thing I'm absolutely good for. Wait, you said I've never looked at porn on my computers. Like, so my computers are for work. Literally all of them. Now, we ain't gonna talk about any other devices. That's none of y'all business. But as far as like my computers, like I could open up my browser on here and everybody could look at it. And you won't have what these dudes at MSNBC be getting in trouble, and CNN, where stuff pop up on Zoom and then all of a sudden they back there wanking. You know what I mean? They doing
What
all
the
this kind of
hell?
I'm serious. Like, I don't. If you're at work, be at work.
Be
right?
at work.
Don't. Why are you at work with your thing on your hand on your? This is like really happening in political news right now, right? Tubin, the Tubin guy from CNN, he's getting his job back after he got caught playing with himself on a Zoom call. Now, you know, had that been a black person
about this morning. See, I give
had
you
that
guys,
been a black person, we'd be in jail. They'd find a way to put us in jail.
Right.
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
we are
It's the truth,
good.
though.
Had that been Jimmy, not Jimmy. No, Jimmy's is equally a white name. Had that been Jerome. If Jerome had got caught on a Zoom call playing with himself, one of the women on that call or one of the men on that call would have called and be like, I felt like I was threatened. It would not have gone. All that man Tubin did was lose his job, and now he got his job back after playing with himself on the internet. I just don't understand like the amount of stuff that white people are able to get away with.
Like,
in this
he was
political world.
doing that by on the job.
On a
the
Zoom call.
See, here's the thing. What were you doing that to? That's a little strange. Were you doing it to the people on the Zoom call?
Because then they
on the
should
Zoom call?
feel threatened. Then they should call the police. So why did they not call the police on him? Because that is like, who is he doing? Who is he sending his dick Zoom to? Like, I know this is a
That's
little bit
offensive. That's offensive.
I'm just saying, like, he was obviously doing it to somebody, and it's just too. Don't mix people, please. As a professional, just don't mix your personal with your professional on the same device. Just do yourself the favor and separate the two.
And then you're on a Zoom
Unless
call.
you're a white guy who
wait-
works for CNN.
Wait till after the damn meeting over with. You couldn't wait that long? Damn.
I'm sorry, Rebecca.
Yeah.
No, it's
I'm sorry.
okay. I was getting me together as you guys were trying to figure out a story to come up with, and that's the one that you guys could. All right. No
a good one.
porn on the computer, no whacking off on during Zoom calls.
Just Zoom calls.
And then you would say it's a good story to come up with. Really, Rebecca?
Oh, I'm done. All right. Good morning. It is Tuesday here on Like It or Not. We got a lot that we're going to be going into as I got my system together. I got my camera together. I got my weave together. And so I am together. And we do have a guest here today. And I would love, it being, there's a lot going on in America. And I know I keep going back to Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't come. And no pun intended to our last story, but do not come here to America. So there's a lot going on with immigration, the conversation of immigration. And we have Olayemi, I hope I'm saying that right, Olayemi Olurin, who is a public defender at NYC Legal Aid Society, a legal observer at New York City chapter of National Lawyers Guild. She is going to be joining us today. There she is. Let me tell you something. Hold on. This morning, I went to her page, right? And I saw that she was on BNC, the Black News Channel. And I said, give us blonde, ma'am. Give us blonde. Okay, I live for it. Absolutely.
I be switching it out. I like the concept that they can't keep me at the court.
That's right. Okay. That's right, sis. I love it. I was like, okay.
They gotta go with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They might look at you and be assuming, right? And then you come and you're like, I'm educated and this doesn't matter, right? Because
people like to think you got to change it and you don't.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you know, Karen over here and Sarah over here are rocking their reds and their purple highlights and whatever.
We're just
know.
looking rough and raggedy.
Rough.
Yep.
Unkept.
Yep.
Unkept. But thank you so much for joining us here, Olayemi. Can you introduce yourself and let the people know who you are?
My name is Olayemi Olurin. Y'all could say Olay, make your life easy. I'm from the Bahamas originally. I moved to the US in 2008, and now I am a lawyer here. I'm a public defender working to help Black and brown people combat a racist injustice system.
Okay, girl. See, my Caribbean sister, you know, I'm Haitian, you know, you're Bahamian. We got that connection there. So you're an immigrant yourself, right?
Yes.
Let's just dive right into it. You're an immigrant yourself. And I did see a couple of tweets that you did put out saying, you know, the legal immigration process here in America is super duper tough. And I know because, you know, I'm a product of immigrants myself, and my parents, I got some family members who didn't have the opportunity to come here legally, but I do have my parents who came here legally, and even them getting their citizenship, even them getting papers, even them getting anything legal through the system took years. I'm talking like years, for one person a decade. Just to be considered American or have citizenship or have papers, anything legal. So definitely speak about that process for you. I know you were tweeting about it the other day.
So my parents still live at home in the Bahamas. Actually, I'm the first person in my family to come to the US and the only one for a while. My sisters ended up coming one by one. And I came because I wanted to be a lawyer in America, and I looked into the immigration system when I was like 14. I'm like, all right, if I get in the education system earlier, I get my degrees here, you know, I'm in this community, then it'll be easier for me. I mean, probably easier. That was the right idea. I'm still present, but as far as being able to get citizenship or anything like that, that's still not an option. Still hasn't happened. So I'll be the first, and hopefully eventually I get it, but it just isn't a thing. And people tend to think after you're here for a while, you start to blend in, you know, people think, oh, you're American too. They catch you on the right day. You code switching enough, you know, they're like, oh no, they don't mean you should be straight. Like, I remember I was on 7 months unpaid immigration leave trying to get a visa that I ultimately was denied for. And I remember talking to my own friends. I tell them I'm an immigrant every day. This is the situation. I was talking about it all in law school, and people are just like, you'll be fine. You're a lawyer. They want people like you. They sure did deny me. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, I was blown away because, you know, I did qualify. I applied for an EB-2 visa. It's for, you know, an alien with an advanced degree, you know, an outstanding person. I had every letter, reference, every, you know, degrees, all these awards. And they were like, yeah, you have an advanced degree. Yeah, you're an outstanding alien. We give you that. They were like, you want to be a public defender, and that only benefits the poor, and that's not of interest to us. They straight up wrote it. They said the quiet part out loud. I was like,
wow.
Yeah, it hurt. It hurt.
So you couldn't even be considered, you know, an American to help do more work for the people that are here, people that look like you, people that may have issues, anything, because public defender is kind of like the low level.
Which is crazy because, you know, the national interest waiver, what I had applied for, you know, where you're able to apply for yourself, the whole idea is that it's something that is in the interest of the nation, right? I'm the only constitutionally court appointed lawyer. Public defenders are mandated by the Constitution. You would think that counts. Like the court has already decided. I was blown away. I'm like, wow, how's that possible? I live in New York City. I've gotten, you know, 1,000+ people out of jail, and it's wild to really, really hear it and see it. You know, I think to myself, okay, well, I went to school here. I got my high school degree here. I got my bachelor's degree here. I got my JD here. I'm admitted. I passed the bar here. I'm admitted to the state to practice in New York. I haven't lived in the Bahamas for 13 years. I have no degrees there. That's not where I'm at. But yet it really doesn't matter. You can't claim this as your home.
It's amazing that they just outright said this to you.
Yep.
Right. That they said that because of what you're doing, but had you put down there that you're going to be a corporate lawyer,
yeah,
you know, for like a major corporation or whatever, then it's very likely they would have approved you. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah. If you could, the thing is, right, they want you, the other option was like, you can demonstrate this huge business plan where you plan on bringing America millions, but you literally can't do that. As an immigrant, I'm not allowed to make any money outside of my job. I can't do that. I can't start a business. I can't collect any money. I can't even start a YouTube paid for subscription. Like I cannot do it. So it's like, I've been here for 13 years being told I cannot make any money. I cannot have a business. Why would I have that plan? You know what I mean? they get you one way or the next. Is basically what it is. You can't. I did everything I was supposed to do. I planned it out 13 years in advance. Like I've been thinking about this since my teen years. It didn't come up on me. So I'm like, I'm as prepared as I can be. So when that came up, I'm like, I really don't know what else I could possibly have. How could I have a business plan that I'm not allowed to have? I can't start a business there. I can't go get a loan. I can't do any of those things. So why would I have it?
So in your case by yourself, you show that immigration is not only a class issue because of how they have that thing so tangled up that you got to benefit the rich or you can't come, but it's also a black issue. Like this is an issue for us.
It is. No, immigration is a black problem. It just hasn't gotten framed that way, you know. And you know, unfortunately, as a community, we have so many issues, you know what I mean, to tend to in terms of this country, in terms of the media cycle. So I see how it happened, but in actuality, despite how the media portrays it, most immigrants here are people who came documented. You know what I mean? They came documented and their visa overstayed. And a lot of immigrants are, in fact, Black people coming from Haiti, coming from the Caribbean, coming from Africa. And these are the places that don't have these immigration carve-outs. So it, in fact, really deeply is a Black issue. People just aren't thinking about you when they see you. Like, I tell people I'm an immigrant all day long, but that's not what they think of when they see me. You know, they know I'm Black, they know I'm tending to those issues. But as far as being an immigrant, no. And especially with America advertising itself as a melting pot so often, and everybody is, you know, my parent was an immigrant, and this is easy for people to think when you say immigrant, you mean, oh, your parents came here or your family's from here. And I mean, no, I'm from there. I came here. I'm not from this country.
Wow. I absolutely appreciate that story. And first of all, you're on both sides of it, right? You're fighting for people, their rights here in America, right? And they're telling you, I mean, that's low level and you're an immigrant. I mean, it's not really doing anything for us. So, and you can't monetize outside of that to even make it better for you, especially in this time where social media is popping for you to be monetizing on your work. They're just like, you don't deserve because you're an immigrant. Here in America, the melting pot, right? The one where we're supposed to come here as immigrants and say, you know, we've made it. This is where all immigrants can get their dreams to come true. This is the place. And it's like, it's really not, especially, you know, for you, to me, you said like, this is a true hardship that nobody really understands. If you're not an immigrant, or if you're not a product of immigrants, Black folks already got it hard. And like you said a key thing as well. They try to frame it as if immigration isn't a Black issue. And in reality, it is. Like here, if you're Black or brown, that is definitely an issue as an immigrant, because we don't see that with you know, the clear people, with the Europeans or whoever who's coming over here. They get to come here, things are easier for them. The hardships aren't relatable when it comes to them. But when it comes to the Black and brown immigrants, it is definitely really, really tough. So what are some things that you're doing now that are helping get this word out and help people understand what's really happening?
I think it's necessary I talk about it, right? Like in the 13 years I've been here, I've never really heard that story. I know it well as far as my friends, people I know. Like, I am not the only international student. I know I'm one of the few I know that are left still here. I have Bahamian friends who have been just as qualified and competent, came to America, couldn't stay. Even my own sister. I have a sister who went to undergrad, graduated with all the honors, 3 sisters, you know, couldn't stay here, had to end up going back to the Bahamas. That's where she's in med school. So I know it well like that, but people don't know it. They don't really get to hear it, because the reality is immigrants aren't in the position to tell your story. You're either wrapped up in an immigration fight and you don't want to upset USCIS, right? So you're doing that, or you're out the country. It's only one way or the other. So you don't really get to put that narrative out there. And what happens is people think that the immigration, they think it's like, oh, just do it the right way. If you just do it the right way, just apply. They don't realize you can't apply. They haven't heard that, because the narrative is dominated by people that are intentionally trying to create this appearance that immigrants just don't want to be bothered. They just want to come here illegally. They just want to do it the wrong way. And you never get to hear from other people because they're not in the position to talk. So right now, what I'm just doing is talking, making noise, making sure they know.
So and I know we're talking about the legal immigration side of it, right? But we also have the illegal immigration side of it. And that is also tough, because people, they don't have an opportunity. They have a lot of the walls built,
Absolutely.
in front of them where they can't even come to America. And then we have a woman who is our vice president, who's a product of immigrants herself, and who is telling folks, don't come.
That's how it goes. You'd be shocked how often you hear some insensitive immigration comment from someone you think would understand. That's why I plan to keep all my immigration letters to show my future children, they don't know what it is, so they're not saying things like that. But it's always been the case. The narrative is very insensitive. And even myself, right? Even with my own immigration narrative, I'm very privileged, right? I am still someone that was privileged enough to be able to qualify for a student visa to come here.
Yeah.
Like that's a picture of privilege.
Oh, yeah.
My parents send me to this country, pay for boarding school. That's all very expensive. Just getting the visa, the amount of financial support my parents had to be able to show. So I'm very, very privileged in that. And I'm privileged to still be here. And that being said, I feel like I owe it to other immigrants like me and other immigrants that haven't been so fortunate and aren't able to be so fortunate. They didn't have the parents to pay for, school 10 years in advance, weren't able to do all of this. I need to talk about that because there needs to be more routes for everybody. Because undocumented, they frame it as two separate immigration issues, and it's not. They're very, very intertwined. How you end up undocumented is because there were no paths for you to be documented.
Yeah,
that's what happens. Because if you build your life in a country, you've built your life there. Your community is there. Your family, your friends are there. Your ability to work, everything is there. And then they up and say, go. It's not that easy. And it really isn't that simple. So I feel compelled to do that for other immigrants.
And we need more people like you, right? Because and I'm not saying that just for a pat on the back. I'm saying you're doing some work, even when they're trying to restrict you from doing the work, because that's how they do it, right?
Yeah.
They're saying we gave you an opportunity to come to America and get some schooling. That's the crumbs.
Yeah.
Grab that. And I'm glad that you haven't stopped there, because the more that you do the work will help somebody else. Because this immigration issue isn't going to stop. This immigration conversation isn't anything new, but when we highlight it and make it and point out what it really is, and how the only, you said there, when it comes to immigration, when it comes to the legally documented and the undocumented, those are the same. They're both intertwined. I definitely agree with that. But when it comes to the Black and brown immigrants and the others, that's two separate things. That's two separate lanes. And that's, and the fact that you're educating people on that. And then you're the one, and I talked about this yesterday on our show. It's so good to hear it coming from somebody who is experiencing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is where it makes it, well, how do you know? Because you just said like there are so many professionals or people that you wouldn't even think would be on the wrong side of the immigration conversation, but yet they are, right? And then here you are, who've experienced it, and like, no, these are the issues, and this is what's happening, and this is just there's so much. That immigration conversation is so broad.
Yeah.
It's so much going on. There's so many layers to it. But right here, this particular portion is about you, an immigrant who came here, and there's so much like you who come here for the opportunities and who are blessed, when in comparison to our immigrant brothers and sisters who don't get the opportunity, and then still told you can't get nothing else. It's not here for you.
Yep.
Unless you're willing to not help the people.
And I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I might not have been aware of it when I first came to the country, but at some point in time, I realized what I needed to be doing was helping people who look like me in a criminal system that disproportionately profiles, targets, arrests, and incarcerates them. It's just insufficient to me. For me personally, I can't be a Black attorney and not do things that I think are going to advance Black people. It's not going to work for me.
Come on, somebody.
Yeah, come on, somebody. You are a Black attorney, and that to me, I was saying yesterday, Black women, Black women. Listen, ain't nobody gonna. They try to minimize it. When we say attorney, that's something big, right? Especially in the Caribbean community. You're an engineer, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, and you have made it. Okay, you are there, and nobody can take that away from you. And you're doing the work. So, what can we expect next from you during this journey for you?
Let me tell you, I'm just going to continue showing up in Queens every day. Every time there's somebody that needs me, I'm going to continue representing them. I'm going to continue advocating for them. And I'm going to continue saying the things that people are scared to say. I think the benefit to my career is this. I'm not from here, and I really have no ability to, like you said, I can't monetize certain things. All I really care about doing every day is fighting for people that need me to. So that's what I'm going to do every day in, day out. So I'll continue doing this.
Listen, for everybody who's watching, definitely let them know how to catch you, how to support you, because if anything, if we can't, if you can't monetize, I want people to push your work. And we'll hopefully, that pushes the coins your way because you deserve, sis. So definitely plug in where people can find you.
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter, any social media at Miss Olurin, MSOLURIN, and check out right now. I'm publishing a series. I thought it was important that I amplify the voices of people actually in the criminal system. Too often we hear from judges and lawyers and people that actually experience it. If we want to know what's wrong with the criminal system, we should be talking to the people that are actually being impacted and caught up in it. So I'm publishing the stories of people that are formerly and currently incarcerated, 5 stories, one at a time. So look out for that.
We need that. We need clips of that. We want to play that on this show because that's another important conversation. You see, Olay, you over here giving us a little bit more. See, I told you, Black women, that is a conversation we have to about people who have been incarcerated and how they're trying to come into the world and what their story is, because the assumption is that that's reform when they're incarcerated, right? And they push them out into the world and they don't even, how do they adjust? And
exactly.
Bring us that. We need those clips, girl.
I got you, and I'll send you the links. People like to talk too much for currently and formerly incarcerated people. There's this narrative that they're voiceless. They're not voiceless. I might, as a lawyer, it might be my job to speak for them in the courtroom because they don't speak the language, and it's the system, operates by forcing people to have to deal with the abuse silently in court. But outside of court, they have a voice. The only thing is people aren't listening. So I think people like me have an obligation to amplify their voice, and I didn't think it was sufficient for me to have a platform, where people think it's insightful to hear my little secondhand glances at the system. Well, why not hear it from the people who really know? Hear from them, hear from their family, their experience. You're moved by my little testimony and looking at it in court, but go ask them. They got the real story. So I think it's important I share that.
Girl, okay, yeah, we're bringing you back. It's already done. It's already said and done. You're doing the work, and you're doing more work on top of the work. Not only in immigration for the incarcerated and formerly incarcerated. Girl, you on the streets. Your boots on the ground. It comes in many forms, and you are boots on the ground. Keep doing what you're doing. Make sure you guys follow Olay. And let's get her Twitter handle up on here and your Instagram as well. You said what were you put it out?
Sam, I'm Miss Olurin on everything.
Okay, perfect. And we're definitely going to get everybody to follow you in your work. Bring those clips on over, and we're going to have you back on the show. Promise.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right, enjoy the rest of your day, girl. Bye.
All right, Olay. Thank you for that.
Olay.
Love it.
Bahamian sister came over here doing work that white folks don't want to do for the Black people, but will go ahead and act like they representing the Black folks. Public defenders, you know how it is. The public defenders already have that.
There's plenty of white. There are plenty of white public defenders.
No, but they have that stigma to them, right? This is what I'm saying. They have the stigma. Everybody knows when we get a public defender, they ain't really going to do the work for you. We know that.
Olay will be in there kicking ass.
Olay.
You think see, they couldn't afford to have her as an attorney because she ain't gonna come through there with disheveled and papers falling. That's what you talk about. You talk about they don't really want to be there. They just doing it until they get their job at the corporate office. Is what you got is Olay coming in there saying, "No, this is how we're gonna fight the system."
Yeah,
and they said they can't let her
David,
do that.
she gave us the permission to call her Olay at the beginning of the show. She was saying if you can't say Olayemi, she was like, just go ahead with Olay.
Because you know I can't say it.
Yeah,
right.
No. She's definitely coming in, like you said, guns blazing. I like that. I like that. Thanks for looking out, David, because we're supposed to be pronouncing people's names correctly. But no, I like that. I love that because it's important that we have that, male or female, but the Black representation, because they try to take that away from us. And I'm telling you, every Black person that is incarcerated that knows that they're going to get a public defender automatically feels, especially ones that are incarcerated already and know the system, they automatically feel that, hey, ain't no assistance here. Let's just go ahead and do this whole thing, give me my time, whatever. Because they'll pull up, not even looking at your case, not even you're just another name, a number, or whatever. But when you have somebody that actually cares about you, cares about your issue, cares about why you're here, and trying to really defend you, trying to help you out, trying to figure out options for you. That's where the difference is. And that's why America looks at it as a low level situation, because they know we're just going to throw somebody in there just because we need to stand in for whatever reason, representation for a public defender who doesn't give a damn about who they're representing. And they're going to move on to the next one in about 10, 15 minutes sometimes. That's why they look at it like that. They don't think it helps anybody. And you said something, Ben, while you were speaking to her. You said this job doesn't benefit like the rich folks, right? Public defenders, it don't benefit them because they can get lawyers, they can get all that, they can get representation, whatever. So public defenders, if they're not benefiting the rich people who keep America under the straps of whatever they got going on, whether it's big business corporations or whatever. If we can't use you, then we don't need that job isn't for real. And that is very. If the job does not help out these white supremacists, these corporations, these big businesses, then it ain't nothing to us. These rich folks, people who can pay, right? Then it doesn't mean anything to us. You don't deserve. You're not nothing, and that's not the truth.
Yeah,
that's not the truth.
Yeah. No, you right up, spot on.
Yeah, you were spot on, Ben. That little tidbit. I was like, hey, Ben, that's
both of y'all spot on. What are y'all talking about?
No, you're spot on too, James. No, you were spot on.
James,
you were spot on,
man. Look at us.
It was you. It was y'all. Both of y'all. You and you.
It was you. But no, nah, man, that was with you saying that though, Ben. Like, understand what you said, man. That's deep. These folks out here, if you can't help this capitalistic system, if you can't benefit it, you ain't nothing. If you're trying to help these people that we putting in jail for marijuana and holding up cells and making money,
that's how they make their money.
Hey,
exactly.
You messing up their money. You put somebody like Olay in a public defender seat.
Hey.
You messing up. You making the judge actually gotta work. You mean he actually gotta hear the case and not get a settlement?
A whole immigrant like in this system. We don't want it. We don't want that to thrive. We already gave her opportunity to go to school here. That's just enough. And now she's over here, got the audacity to go fight for folks that we putting in there to make a coin.
People,
we should subsidize black attorneys that are public defenders. We should subsidize black public defenders, because if they could make enough money to actually live, because they're gonna make sure that the jobs that have the most impact on society pay the least. That's why the public defenders don't make no real money. That's why the sanitation workers are the most critical workers in society. They don't get paid. I mean, well, depending on New York, I think they pay pretty good in New York. But the point is like the critical functions, they cannot afford to allow Olay to come in there, efficiently execute justice on behalf of poor people, because that breaks down the system as they built it. They are so used to making money off of poor people, they cannot have equal justice for poor people, especially poor black people. So if we subsidize black public defenders and they can have a decent lifestyle, that's one way we could change the system, because this system is used to never actually having to fight against us in a court of equal justice.
That's it. That's all. That's it. It's a wrap. Shut the show down. It's it. That's it.
Can I say something, y'all?
What's up, man?
Let me say I love y'all.
Because
man, y'all, we are the most intellectual, deep thinking motherfuckers I've ever seen. We are on fire.
Bro, we operate on all levels. All levels.
Like all levels.
It's just we got range.
Pat y'all on the back. All of y'all. David, you too, man. Dwayne, all y'all. Love y'all.
Ooh,
okay, sorry.
Look, shout out to everybody. Look, shout out to it's love. I love that. I love it. Just keep pouring love on me. I need that. But somebody said something, and I think that's really important too in this conversation. They said if she was a prosecutor, they would be like,
come on in.
Oh,
come on in, Kamala.
Come on in. Mm-hmm.
Come
on in the room.
Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Come on in the room.
Come on and use that black girl magic on poor black people.
when it works for you. Come on and use that Indian part of you. Come on and use that Asian Pacific. What are we calling it today? Come
You
on
don't
and use it.
That's why I don't go into the particulars with her, because I don't know what exactly.
People, that's what they do. They use whatever sounds good right now. We'll throw that on Kamala. Whatever sounds good right now, we'll throw that on Kamala.
Oh, she's a black woman today,
and she's married.
Kamala Harris.
So she's like very much all
and
of
relax,
that.
people. We like her well enough. We respect her well enough.
We know the black.
We respect her well enough.
Yeah, I don't know if I like her well enough, but we respect her well enough.
Yes.
We ain't gonna let nobody disrespect her.
I don't care. She's the same black she's the same black prosecutor that put a lot of our family friends in jail.
Rebecca, you said a word.
And that's where the issue lies. Not everybody is a comrade. And when the system offers you when the system offers you something and they tell you, we'll give you this, but you need to do this for us. And that's walking our white supremacist values. And like I said, in 2008, I gave former President Barack Obama maybe it was just like a rough time. And it really was. It was the first, right? It was the first. And she's the first woman, but there's so much that we have set in place for someone like her to get in that position and start at least voicing things, right? At least being verbal about things and showing up to things that matter for people of color, because she represents a person of color and a woman of color. And for her to be the first time in this seat in the good year of our Lord 2021, she went on Beyonce's national television and said that, America isn't racist. And then she went on the same one to sign an anti-hate crime bill for Asians, right? And then went on to tell immigrants in their country, talking to their president, don't come.
We don't want you.
Don't come. We don't want you. We don't do that over here. And then was out there during Pride. And it's like, so you pick and choose the marginalized groups you want to represent. And that tells me that you walk into white supremacist values. But we had Olay on the show who said with her mouth and said, I can't walk in that. I got to do, even if that's sacrificing for me and what America thinks about me, I got to do what I got to do for the black folks who cannot. And if it ain't me, then who?
Yeah.
And that, to me, is where it matters.
Preach on it. Preach on it. Olay says she couldn't, and her response to that was so instantaneous, because I asked her about it, and her instant response was, I can't be here on behalf of the system. There are those of us who are here on behalf of the system, and then there are those of us who are here on behalf of the people. You just got to know which one you're dealing with. And that's how you can tell if they're there really to be bipartisan on behalf of you or on behalf of the system, all the way up and down the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. They said, Rebecca, she's voicing just not our voice. Yeah. I mean, we thought though, now I didn't think, because we already knew how she was moving. We didn't. But this was the time, this time, y'all, this whole time they campaigned on, we're going to do better as Americans for Black folks here in America. I'm going to wear my pearls and I'm going to wear my Chucks and I'm going to represent the HBCU. I'm going to tell you, I like Cardi B.
Joe,
I love Cardi B.
We did it, Joe.
And we did it, Joe, on my acres and acres of land, which I love to see Black women in that frame. I like to see Black men.
I like the in her Chucks.
I loved it. It's cute to see. And I thought it was gonna, maybe some way get into the office. And
you
when we
ain't
sat in that
Chucks
seat,
no more?
No, you ain't see him no more. You saw them little kitten heels, them navy blue old kitten heels. Even though that's fine.
Give me a Speaker of the House heel.
Yeah, it was giving. It was giving. And I would, but it just goes to show you we got people that we lift so high and make so famous and do all of this who don't do nothing for us. Who don't do nothing for us. And then the ones that are boots on the ground, the ones that are willing to be nameless. Because doing the work matters to them more.
They're the ones that pay the biggest price too.
And she can't even get paid. The America's telling her she's not worth getting paid doing the work. But we got American activists, white ones, black ones, all of them. Superstars who are signing deals with Cadillac. And I got and the thing is, I have no problem with that. I just want to juxtapose.
Juxtaposition.
We got
love it.
Immigrants who's doing the same work out here who can't even get a tap on the shoulder for that. How dare they? They can't get no money for the work that they do. But we got others who we don't know where the money goes, but be getting awards by celebrities, right? They making money. They get. This is what I'm talking about. Do the work, y'all. I want y'all to get paid for doing the work too. Everybody deserves to get paid for doing the work. I believe everybody deserves, while they're doing the work, to live good too. There's nothing wrong with that. But there are a lot of people who are not doing the work for the right reasons. And when the light is shined on them, they ain't got nothing to say. Nothing to say. They will preach about it in the beginning, say they're all for this. They'll say, if you follow me, this is what I'll do for you. If you give me money, this is what you'll get. Yeah. And at the end of the day, there's no product. There's no product because they fall right in line.
Never make a promise that I can't keep. That ain't me.
Exactly. And a lot of these activists have done that. And because they get involved, and I don't know if they started off thinking that feeling that they're going to do something great. And when they're in it, they get lost in that white supremacist mess. Look, the streets, right, were closed down. People were out there doing the work. White folks was all of a sudden putting we care about black folks in commercials. Remember that? That was last year. Now today we're back to normal. We're back to it's back to we need a little bit of racism.
Normal.
It's back to normal. It's like the white folks not holding the door open for me no more. They looking at me like, girl, please. They not last year when it was sensitive. When it was sensitive, they was holding the door open for me.
It was easy last year too.
Rebecca, here you go. Come on in the door, Rebecca. Oh my God! Wow. Come on in, Rebecca.
You got your mask.
Don't forget your mask. Beautiful hair. Oh my God! Come on in the door.
It was also easy for them because the face of it was Donald Trump. The face of the opposition was Donald Trump. Now the face of the opposition is, quite frankly, Joe Biden, and they're gonna hate on you for like disagree with Joe Biden on something. Oh, that's your ass, Mr. Postman.
Listen, don't disagree on Joe Biden, right? And people, you say something about Joe Biden, Benjamin P. Dixon.
Oh yeah.
You say something.
I'm blocked by people I don't even know existed.
You say something about Joe Biden, James Bubba Williams, your community, the LGBTQIA, Ben.
All of a sudden, you ain't gonna be gay no more, James.
He
ain't gay.
You say something, Benjamin, in your political world. Me, I say something about Kamala.
You ain't a woman.
Black woman.
You ain't a black woman no more.
I ain't a black woman. I cannot speak. Oh, she's doing what needs to be done. You got to give her an opportunity. They've only been in for 123 days. They've only, are we not seeing that she's doing work? Are we not seeing that she might be afraid to speak up? I remember when we talked about her at the end of last year, somebody was like in our comment section, I don't know why she's going so hard on Kamala. She's like, she might be scared because of threats that have been sent her way, ever since she got into office.
It come with the territory.
Listen, she got Secret Service. Ain't nobody messing with her. And she got a white husband. Ain't nobody definitely messing with her.
Let me tell you something. Let her have been black husband. Now you can have a conversation with me. Now you can have a conversation with
now you can have a conversation with the CIA because they're gonna take care of it.
Look, the CIA talking to me. Alexa just came on. Alexa just came on, Ben.
And ain't nobody say her.
Nobody said Alexa.
We just said CIA. Bloop.
Right. What the hell?
CIA, you listening? Bloop.
The feds watching.
Unplugs.
Oh man.
Woo. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we definitely thank you, Ole, for starting the conversation. Thank you for taking us through our morning wave.
This the whole
Tuesdays-
show.
Right.
This the whole
It literally is the whole show.
Get the benediction
Dope.
there.
It's dope though. Yeah.
Right. Not before we pass the plates. Not before we pass the plates. Send up
Well,
those
you
super
got
chats,
you know,
guys.
yeah. No, we gotta give them some more content. I got to
Send
ask
up
for
those
money.
super
We gotta
chats.
give them some more
we got
content.
more
What we got
content.
next?
They already know what's coming. This morning. Okay.
We gonna get who are we not gonna get canceled by? We're gonna get canceled by the establishment. We're gonna get canceled by people who think they revolutionary.
Corporations. Oh my God.
Corporate racists gonna hate us. Anti-racists going, we gonna get canceled because we making fun of the people in trailer parks. Like we ain't got no home.
Then the church folks are gonna be
Oh, the
like,
church
I don't
folk. We gonna
know.
talk about
Okay.
I don't
The
know because
Alphabet
they
Gang
mocking the
loves us
Lord?
though.
Right.
what's that?
The
What's
Alphabet
that?
Gang. The Alphabet Gang loves us though.
Right, they do. But do they like when we call them the Alphabet Gang? When I say it, because I don't. That's all you, Bubba. Because I can't really step into that territory. You see what I'm saying?
I don't
They
want to
gonna
be.
cancel us too. Look.
No. I'm late to the party. Are we talking about? Are we talking about the
LGBTQIA+.
Y'all cancel for saying it like that.
That ain't me. That was Bubba. That was James Bubba Williams that said the alphabetic community.
You're not gonna get me
I never
canceled.
said
As
that.
a part of the community, I can say this
He can
freely.
say- you
It's
see?
too many goddamn letters.
He's not the
LGBT.
only
That's
person
all I
that
knew.
says that as part of the community. It's like me saying things against immigration, immigrants, accents. Right, I can say that because
my goodness.
I got like 50 of them. So,
Right.
then you can
to match
you
your
can-
personalities.
right, and then you can you can actually say stuff against or joke with the church community, Ben, because you
I
sat
know.
at the organ, you sat at the pulpit. You
I
gave the
actually
word.
sat at the bar with some
Hello?
of them. I know these preachers. I know these pastors. I know them well. I know what's in their cell phones. Come on,
Good.
fellas.
Oh God.
What's in the cell phones? Hopefully not pornography. Since we're talking
Better on
about-
your cell phone than on your computer at home at work.
Well, not if something happens
Come
to
on.
you, God forbid, and the police got to get into your phone, and now that's every tab they
you
pull
gotta
up,
break.
it's
You have
nothing but
got to have a
that.
self-destruct. Listen, you got to have the self-destruct mode on these phones, right?
Did
Like
so-
it does for real.
we're gonna take it down to somebody I still want to. I know that we attack often here on the show, which is Tucker Carlson. He's coming back with some BS as it relates to the vaccine and giving misinformation. So I don't know what he said, but I would love to hear.
You know it's stupid.
We just know that it's gonna be geared towards something that is misinformation when it comes to COVID-19. Let's take a look.
You must get vaccinated. Okay, what's the risk? It tells you something that no one in authority ever seems to assess that or even mention the potential downside of vaccination. Every drug has potential side effects. Every drug, from Advil to chemotherapy. That doesn't mean we don't take them. It does mean, however, that we have a right to know exactly what those drugs could potentially do to us. Transparency is the essence of medical ethics. So what is the harm rate from the COVID vaccines? What's the harm rate? You're not allowed to ask. Have you noticed that? They'll shout at you if you ask. Several weeks ago, we quoted numbers from the administration's own reporting system, VAERS, that show a massive increase in deaths from this vaccine. Now, even if you believe the VAERS system is profoundly flawed, and it seems to be flawed, it's hard to explain the jump in fatalities in relative terms. Same system, different results. Between July 1st, 1997 and the end of 2013, that's 5.5 years, there were 2,149 deaths reported in the U.S. for all vaccines combined on the VAERS system. Yet in just 6 months, the last 6 months, there have been more than 5,160 deaths associated with the COVID vaccines, as reported to VAERS. That's more than double the number of deaths in less than 1/10 the time. What does that mean? How do you explain that? Oh, but those numbers are wrong, say the usual liars with maximum hysteria. Okay, let's say they are wrong. What are the real numbers? How many people have been killed or injured by the COVID vaccines? Does anyone know the answer? More to the point, is anyone in authority making a good faith effort to find the answer, to figure out who is being hurt and how? Would they tell us if they knew? Honestly, it is outrageous. If you're going to force people to take a drug, you have a moral obligation, an absolute moral obligation to understand exactly what the effects of that drug might be and then be honest about what they are. But they're not doing that. We can say that conclusively.
This white boy can get mad about anything, can't he?
Yeah.
He can make up anything to get mad about.
For sure. And here's the thing, right? He just literally said, and Ben, you talk about numbers a lot when it comes to COVID-19. I mean, the numbers update. Do you really buy into, and I know you don't, period, because we don't like Tucker, period. But it ain't only him that's saying this, right?
Right.
So how dangerous is it for him to say that doctors, surgeons haven't been telling people about this vaccine,
about the side effects of the vaccine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, let's start with VAERS, since that's on the screen. It's the Vaccine Adverse Experience Response System, I believe is what it stands
that's
for.
great, because I was like,
right.
And it is set up by the CDC. However, it is not regulated. It's not. These are this is a self-reporting system. So if you got the vaccine the other week and it made your eyes turn blue, whatever, and you went to report that, then all of a sudden in the entire system, someone could search and say, okay, your eyes turn blue. This is a side effect of the vaccine, right? It's not conclusive evidence. It's not verified. It's not scientific. It's just self-reporting. And he knows that, but he continues to say it as though it is scientific evidence that there's something wrong with the vaccine. Well, we do have we have the data. We have how effective it is. We have the type of side effects we have, and some side effects for some people in rare cases can be severe, but we have the actual data, and he's not sharing the actual data. He's trying to make sure as many people are afraid as possible. But go back to the video real quick, David, where he has the fighting hands. Somebody went and found some fighting fists, cut them things out. Back it up a little bit. They cut out the fist to make it seem like you're getting punched. And oh, by the way, you're getting punched by the vaccine.
Oh, I didn't even notice, Ben, that specific detail. Why does it look like
you about to get punched in the face by the vaccine?
What?
Like they about to jab that thing in your arm or something.
Here's the thing, though. But all of that and the vaccine is not something that you have to get. Like, you can opt not to get it, and you can go get it. Right? It's optional. And for him, he's taking the rhetoric that we use on the other side of it and using it for to help his this is what they do. They hijack ideas. They never got their own. So he's basically saying, well, where are the numbers?
Penny in the
what
air.
are the numbers saying? And it's affecting and how it's hurting folks. No, they say that they'll tell you, especially it's gone viral so many times. You'll see a surgeon, you'll see a doctor, you'll see somebody who's taking care of COVID-19 patients who may have gotten COVID-19, even though they got the vaccine. They'll discuss it, but they'll say the higher chances that you can get to save your life is going to be by taking the vaccine. And you don't have to take it, but don't be stupid by spreading misinformation and the fear of it. A lot of people are already getting over the fear of the vaccine from when the conversations were first coming out about it.
You were scared to get it too.
Yeah. And me, Rebecca Azor, she was afraid. She was afraid to get the vaccine because my pre-existing conditions. And there weren't a lot of things said about that at the time. So I was like, I don't want to.
Let me pick my face up off the ground.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But and I had to speak with my doctors. I had to speak with my doctors about that to get the okay to get it. I was really afraid to get it. Not because it's a shot in the arm. I've been through pain in my life. It's cool. I don't like pain, but that it wasn't because of that. I wanted to go outside too. I was wanting to break free, but I had to get out of the misinformation that was being given to me, that was adding to my fear. And then I had to make the choice if I wanted to get it or not. And because I want to travel, and I'll be traveling soon for vacation, I wanted to be mindful. And it's your choice. But people like Tucker Carlson, people like Tucker Carlson, who give misinformation and frame it like it has background and padding and where are the numbers. That's all you're asking. But if you just do a simple Google search,
The numbers are there.
the numbers are there. So
Right. And they
Rebecca-
push this rhetoric that, you know, the vaccine is bad, but like, come on, y'all. This went through a whole trial situation. And then, not to mention, before going through all these trials, excuse me, this virus has been around. May have been different variations. So people are wondering how quickly they received or got this vaccine out because they were already working on this before this. This is a different variation of the H1N1. Am I correct? I think so. I can't remember.
It's not a variation on the H1N1 as far as I know about it. But you see
what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah, but they had enough trials. This is the thing about it, man. Like people, we talking to people who like any number of things y'all doing to destroy y'all body on an everyday basis, and y'all worried about a damn vaccine.
the Islanders who got that one shot to come to America, we don't know what was in that shot, but that shot left a mark on your skin.
Yeah, I've seen those marks
a
a lot.
Permanent, and that's how you know person
a permanent,
is,
right?
They'll be like, I ain't from XYZ, girl.
Bro,
You lie.
look,
It's in your arm. It's in your arm. So y'all went and got those, which you don't know why it gave you that mark that it did. What kind of shot that was in your system, in your body, you don't know, but you took it anyway to get to the United States. So,
And you worried about the vaccine. Y'all smoke hookah after each other. Same straw.
Y'all in blunt.
Don't switch the tip.
Don't even switch the tips out.
Don't even switch the tip.
And y'all worried about the vaccine.
But y'all smoking blunts. So you ain't no switching tips on that. Y'all just passing them.
Just straight up pass.
That's why I took the vaccine.
Okay, man.
That's why I ran to get the vaccine.
So, y'all kissing men who kissing their wives and coming back to you and kissing them too.
Some of y'all
women who doing the same thing.
Some of y'all ain't wore protection since whenever. And you worried about the daggone vaccine.
Having worn protection and have not been to the doctor for checkups. Just be like,
girl,
God, don't
some of y'all drive without your seatbelts on.
Some of y'all ride motorbikes, no helmet.
No helmet.
Worried about a damn vaccine.
Some of y'all walk outside barefoot on glass on this dirty ass street.
I do. I'm a country.
Me too, dude. I ain't gonna lie.
I walk outside barefoot all the damn time. I'm so country right here. Don't let none of this fool y'all. I'm a country bumpkin.
Country as hell.
No, you guys. I was just gonna say something, and it was just gonna be really. It was gonna bring the mood down.
Oh, okay.
No.
I'm not gonna say it though.
You can say it after the show. Tell me.
Now I want her to say it because I want to know what it is. I hate
I
when
want to
people
say
do
it.
that.
Go ahead and say it.
Go say it. Shit.
Some of us get up and walk outside every day and face police officers every day.
And you
every
worried
day.
about a vaccine.
And
you worried about a vaccine.
Police
Let it
officers
bring
are
it
more
down.
dangerous than the vaccine.
That's just bring it back to reality. So
That's right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Rebecca.
Cut that segment. Put that out.
Yeah.
So
I hear having unprotected sex while driving a car in a pandemic with no mask on, worried about a vaccine.
Listen, jumping bridges, child, to try to get to the appointment, to the DA,
To the DA, honey.
to the DA.
Do we have that image? Oh, wait. We're not in Dwayne's system
Let
right
that-
now.
let
Oh,
that go.
man. Oh, just for those of you who need a
Let it
reminder,
go.
we're referring to the image of Rebecca Azor driving that little SUV, jumping over the bridge so that she can get to her appointment.
And to make it to make y'all understand, it's not really me. They put me in there. They cut me out and put me.
It's a great Photoshop though.
It's awesome.
It's a great Photoshop.
I hate you guys.
Job.
I hate you guys so much.
And
Wow,
then they
it's only
animated it.
9:30. You know
We've
what?
been talking it up, and it's only 9:30.
We gotta put our heavy guest at the end because Oleg just
She was
came
good.
through, just cut us
They
up. and
always
just-
do that. Like
Yeah.
yesterday morning too. It's like they come and then they lead us into this whole thing, and we start going here, there, over there,
all over the place.
Just yeah.
Y'all know my crazy behind. I'm over here connecting all of it together. So anybody want to say, yeah, all over the nope. Come a little closer.
It's
We're going to tie it
connected.
together. It's all connected.
No, it's all connected. And that's how,
Mm-hmm.
and you know how I speak. It'd be like, I'm right here with it. Then I'd be like, right here with it. I'm like, right here with it. Because all the little tidbits of it makes up, it makes up the full outfit, right? They'd be like, those earrings don't go with that shirt, don't go with that pants. But then, you know, when I look at it and I'm like, the earrings do go with the shirt. Because my name is Rebecca. I'm a Black woman. Black girls make history. And
Yes,
because, you know, I definitely have a cinch waist and I wanted to show that off, I wanted to wear my high-rise jeans. You know, it goes together. Maybe not when you see it all separated. But when you see it put together, you know, with the ponytail weave, it just all goes together and it makes for a full outfit and a good look. Yeah, so that's
It all connected. It all connected.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. All right, we got some. What do we got in the tank, David? What did you upload just now? I just saw something pop up. Wherever you going to go.
Actually,
I'm not a vaccine hoochie.
Oh no, I was talking to Rebecca.
You're not gonna put it in my butt, and you're not gonna put it in my arm.
It's not just your blatant disregard for people who are unable to get the vaccine and still remain vulnerable to this virus. It's not even the fact that you won't listen to doctors and scientists and medical professionals. And it's not even your utter lack of humanity for the 500,000 plus Americans who've died. But how you fuck this up so bad lyrically, I will never understand. I'm not a vaccine hoochie. I'm not a vaccine slut. You're not going to put it in my arm. You're not going to put it in my butt. Like, how fucking hard was that?
I'm not a vaccine hoochie. I'm not a vaccine slut. You're not gonna put it in my butt, and you're not gonna put it in my arm.
Yeah. He's like, I'm not a vaccine hoochie. I'm not a vaccine slut. You're not gonna put it in my arm. You're not gonna put it in my butt.
But
she didn't say that though. She said, I'm not a vaccine hoochie. I'm not a vaccine slut. You're not gonna put it in my arm. You're not gonna put it. What was the other place?
No, she said you're not gonna put it in my butt. You're not gonna put it in my arm.
She reversed it.
She reversed it. See that? That's that. You know what?
James, you know what that is? That's them clapping on the 1 and 3.
Ben, I was just gonna say that. That's the clapping off beat.
Like, I be trying to clap off beat, bro. I cannot do it.
It's in our soul. It's in our blood. And I do listen.
Rebecca.
Listen. There's only one real test for me, because there's no one way to be black. You can be any kind of black you want to be, but if you clap on the 1 and 3 instead of the 2 and 4, I gotta question your. I need to see your DNA record.
Are you pulling black cards? Yes.
I'm pulling it. I'm like, I need to see your black card, please. I need to see that.
Ain't no way that you my kid and you 2 months old and you telling me you crying off note? You crying off key?
You crying off key? Nah, you ain't my baby. You ain't my baby. Where's the birth certificate at? I need to check what it say the ethnicity is.
So yeah, so her reversing that lyric. How do you intentionally make something not rhyme? It's like we have a natural inclination to make stuff rhyme. It just happens. She did the exact opposite. That's how I know she evil.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I play too much. It's too early. This is not what I intended, but this is not what I intended at all. You guys are hilarious, and David isn't making it any better. David, go ahead and drop it. Look, David, go ahead and drop it.
As an Afghanistan veteran, I cannot get over the ignorance of people thinking they put trackers in the vaccines. When I was in Afghanistan, we could barely find each other. We had Blue Force tracker computer units in every truck. We had Dagger GPS units that we carried on a platoon level, and they never worked. Our government has a military budget larger than the next 7 countries combined, but they can't find a way to reliably figure out where troops are in combat. But yeah, Chad, they definitely have a satellite network following you around to find out how long you spent at that Arby's. Gotta find out how long Brian's been at the Tasty Squeeze. Way more important than figuring out where our combat troops are. When I was there, one of our companies nearly mortared another one of our companies because they couldn't figure out who they were. But yeah, they definitely took that technology that already isn't working, microwized, made small so they could stick them in regular Americans. Get over your...
Okay.
They
So a
be-
few things. I
That's
get
the
that he
right
was-
way to do it.
Yeah, I get that he was dispelling the rumors and the misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccine, right? But let me tell you
Chad.
something, friend. I do believe that after I say Burger King, it's gonna show up on my phone. You can't tell
yeah.
me they ain't. But
Oh,
they're
yeah.
they're not tracking us.
But it's
They're
not a chip. It's your
saying
phone.
it's your phone, right? But and then he said another thing. It's sad that our troops are going out there and they're saying there's GPS and things that should be working for them. The US spends money on stuff, billions and trillions of dollars on things that don't matter. And on the tanks that they're using, right? On that, but the technology to help them be found and to help people identify who they are, to make sure that the same folks, you my squad, okay, let's go ahead and keep it moving to make sure that they can identify who each other is so they're not killing each other off, right? And I'm pretty sure that's happened multiple times, and they just brush it under the rug.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
James, you laughing over there? You crying from laughing?
Oh no, my eyes are blurry. I need some more glasses.
Oh man,
technology, bro. That's crazy. Let's spend it on what it should. Let's spend the money on what it should be spent on. Y'all spending money on more weapons, and not the damn thing to protect them while they're holding on to all these damn weapons.
I never understood why people were so afraid of being tracked. I never, especially now that we just carry our phones around with us everywhere. Like Apple knows everything about
because
everybody.
weirdos are in America and they know how to break in stuff and track you down too. That's why I say I would love to post where I be at, right? I would love to do that. I have to do it after the fact because weirdos, and ever since I became a public figure.
Come on, public figure.
But ever since I became seriously, ever since I've been doing this for the last few years or whatever the case may be, over 5 years. Yeah, Ben, you're much more of a public figure.
Oh, definitely
I'm a baby level.
I'm about to go walk out outside with my bare feet in a few minutes. Go ahead, Rebecca. I'm sorry.
But they literally will come in my inbox and be telling me about my backgrounds and where it looks like you're here and there, and then also getting threats about my life. Those two things are crazy. And then getting threats that I'm going to be raped. Like they would,
Hold on. You getting those kind of threats online right now?
For years. Oh, I just blocked those people now. But for years, when I first got on, especially, people were threatening to rape me. And that is the reason why we were located where we were located. We were an Atlanta-based company, could not be based in the middle of Atlanta, because we don't want no one to find us. The things that we were talking about, speaking against Donald Trump, to people that told us that we couldn't
in North Georgia.
Listen, as Black people, come on now, no. So that there's a lot of weirdos around it. That's why I get afraid, because these people there are very smart weirdos out there who work in tech savvy places who have the capacity to go and figure out where the hell you are, give it to somebody else. I know that's so crazy and far-fetched, but these are things that are happening.
No, that's every day. That's every day. I guess my thing, the only thing I was saying differently than, we were both saying the same thing in a lot of ways, is that we've turned that tracking, the ability to be tracked like that, we carry it around in our hands every day, all day long. We're going to grow an attachment.
Yeah, you just turn off location services, they can't track me. Oh, they still can track you, child. You can turn off whatever the hell you want. They're going to track you. You got phone reception, they're going to track you. Even if you don't have it, they're going to track you.
How do you think these devices are like? These devices are never sleep. All of a sudden, just bloop bloop, and then my phone start playing through a speaker. I ain't turned that speaker on in 5 months. it just connects. That thing's sitting there waiting.
I had to unplug sis because and yesterday she was glitching, and I'm like, stop scaring me. I don't like when she comes on by herself. Yeah. And I would say the word in Creole or something, and she's just lighting up. I don't need you to speak to me when you're not spoken to. I'll be having to get her together, and getting her together is unplugging her. Amen.
She's still probably connected. Hey, Alexa, wake up.
That's scary, baby, because I'll be asleep, right? And I'm like, let me go out and get me, some water. I'm thirsty.
Hi, Rebecca.
That's scary, man. Don't do that. That's even you doing that on the mic.
I'm about to give every millennial Gen Xer person near 30 or 40. I'm gonna give y'all nightmares. Oh my God.
That's scary. Hi, Rebecca.
I'm not even gonna say anymore.
Ooh,
if I say anything
Rebecca.
more, I'm gonna give it away.
You heard that? Did that make you
Yeah.
feel something?
It
Right?
did.
Okay. It's not right.
It's already.
Yeah,
I'm
I
having
forgot I
trouble
got a new
connecting.
Alexa, and I forgot it's in the other room. And sometimes I'm happy I haven't experienced that at night because my brother's does it where Alexa would just randomly say something. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You weren't supposed to be listening.
What
Yes.
the hell?
You weren't supposed to be listening.
Right.
I'm having trouble connecting right now. Please unplug and try again. What?
No,
Right, like,
no, that is a little. Your voice is a little scary there, Rebecca.
You
I'm
see?
not-
It
No,
is, like-
that's
yeah.
me and her.
that's
too
It's been me and
much.
her. It's been me and her together for a year. Okay,
It's just been you and
She's been in
Alexa.
my life for a long time, but I gave her so much love this last year. Like I'd be like, Alexa, what the weather gonna be? Alexa, what? And she's like, I'm having trouble connecting right now. Oh, girl.
At least you had somebody to talk to. At least you
Right.
weren't talking to yourself the whole time.
I was talking to myself the whole time, and then
And Alexa.
So
It's the best, man. It's the
Yeah.
best. Oh man, we sound like three. Well, anyway, let's Rebecca, it's in your head. Let me not get
Okay. So I don't know if and this is gonna be an audible. I'm gonna have to go pull it up, but I know that we've been discussing a lot of race issues, and I'm not gonna stop. Can't stop, won't stop.
Okay.
But there's a particular one that I wanted to discuss as I'm looking for it right now. But there is a school. If we have that, David, there's a school that took 2 honors from 2 Black girls, top honors from 2 Black girls
Yeah.
because the parents,
Where is
white parents, decided to take it away from them. They complained,
thought it was-
and then they replaced the 2 Black girls with white ones. So I wanted to get further into that story as I go looking for it because it was supposed to be yesterday's story. But I definitely wanted to discuss it because
That's it right there.
it's such an issue, and I don't have access to look because I am trying. Ben, if you see it, go ahead and talk about it. 'Cause
No,
am
I put it. I just put it in the chat room for you. But no, it's
Okay.
the Mississippi parents. The high school took 2 white students, co-winners of top honors of their parents, complained about the awarding prizes to Black pupils. That sounds convoluted as hell. A high school awarded white students top honors after 2 Black students were already chosen. Parents at a Mississippi school claimed it had miscalculated the criteria for valedictorian and salutatorian. Breaking with tradition, the school ended up naming 2 white students as co-valedictorians and co-salutatorians.
Yep, and this is West Point High School, and the students were Ikeria
Wow.
Washington and Layla Temple. Beautiful names, Ikeria Washington, nice
I
and
like
black.
Ikeria.
Layla Temple, and they're both Black. So them being in those top honors, been the valedictorian and the salutatorian.
Yeah.
Salutatorian.
Salutatorian.
Never heard of that. But them being that of their class in
Well-
their senior year, right?
Yeah.
That is a big deal. But white folks and their families, shortly after them getting the top honors, they ended up raising complaints to the school, and it did not properly that it didn't calculate correctly, and then that determined them. I don't know what they based it off of, what they went off of, but they said after reviewing the student handbook, West Point School District's Superintendent Burnell McDonald, it's giving us Caucasian, announced that there has been a mistake and breaking with longstanding tradition, named 2 other students who are both white. Please. Oh no, look, I stand corrected. McDonald, Black. They be your own people that ain't fighting for you, scared to lose their positions and jobs. McDonald, who's the principal or the superintendent, told Mississippi Today that the counselor who had calculated the grades was new to the school and had given incorrect information about how to determine the designations. I'm still not getting where
I'm trying to see because I'm reading this.
It's
I'm
all
reading
over
the
the
story.
place.
it's not giving what it needs to give. Washington and Temple had won based on the highest quality point average, which is the QPA, but not the GPA.
What the hell is a Q?
What?
Washington's family told the New York Times that the announcement caused their daughter to be upset. and they're considering suing. They said that she's been crying, where they're talking about Ikeria has been crying on her graduation night.
Well, they took this away from her on the like they didn't have this, that something like this you're gonna have to work through for at least a few weeks before graduation, or it's all hell gonna break loose. You mean it sounded like they just did this at the last second?
They had QPA and they had GPA. Here's the other part of it though, and I wish that it was on camera. All four of them did their speech on graduation night. Both white students, both black students, in the good year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2021.
It's Mississippi.
It's giving QPAs for blacks,
but they're not
GPAs
giving
for whites. There's no real reason I didn't get numbers.
Yeah, they're not giving them any information for us to do this ourselves.
No, Ben, the information is that white folks went and complained to the school
that two black kids got it.
Yep, and the school gave the announcement that they had a new person in office who didn't work off of what a high honors was.
That's the fall guy.
QPA is considered not a criteria for us to say that's high honors, but a GPA is though. QPA sounds like something that's a bigger deal than GPA to me.
But QPA sound like something they
just made up.
They made up their behinds, right?
Yeah. And then what is like, and then but here's the thing, like they need to let us know what their rules are. And if they abided by their rules, then so be it. Whatever. If they didn't abide by their rules, y'all need to answer some questions. It sounds like they didn't abide by their rules. Because why would these girls have an expectation of getting some award unless it was within the criteria that they had their expectations set in the first place? Like they didn't these black girls ain't walk around here talking about, oh, I'm going to be this valedictorian just cause ha 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 ha. Nah, y'all set some standards and they expected to win according to your standards. So somebody lying. And
yeah,
it's not like it's a school.
Superintendent. Like, come on now. I love my black people. You know I do. I've been giving us praise all week, and it's only Tuesday, and I'll continue to do so. But you're right. But then you see, here go me, because I'm always on the black folk side. I be rooting for everybody black, right? Y'all know me. And thought the superintendent had to be white. Had to be white. But then we go back to the conversation of it be your own folks and them having to walk in white supremacist standards and do what the white supremacist act asked them to do. And y'all can't tell me that these folks ain't white supremacists, because just look how they won. Look how they won by just coming in and complaining for their kids. And
at a minimum, they're Karens. At a minimum, they're Karen.
Oh, they're giving me Bob or brunette with the long hair.
They got a baby Bob.
Like they're giving me the blonde Bob to the side, or they're giving me like the brunette with the long hair, because they can be Karens too. The brunette with the long hair that's like, my daughter. My daughter has had Karen, come over here. My daughter, and because my name has because I'm the brunette, my name has like
Karenista.
Luciani. No, it's like it's an Italian one. So my daughter has been here at this school doing what she needed to do. She does all the sports. And you can't do 3 sports if you don't have good grades. Karen, come over here. And yes, and can we? Is there anyone else that we can speak to? Is there like
Where's the
a
manager? Man, speak to the manager. Like, I don't like this.
I don't like that you're the superintendent. Is there a manager, a higher up that I can speak to? No, I have the right to speak to a higher up.
No, ma'am. I'm the superintendent. I'm the head NIC.
Oh no, I need someone else. I'm not speaking with you.
Are you like Daniel Cameron? If you're like Daniel Cameron, then we can maybe work with you.
Possibly.
What can you do?
I am not speaking with her. Hold on, Karen. I'm speaking now. I'm not. I need someone else. Is there anyone else that could be? My daughter. Is white. So she deserves. She deserves. And I feel that Karen's daughter, Karen
don't bring her ass over here.
That Karen's daughter,
I'm gonna fuss at Karen in a second,
as well has all that she needs that fits the criteria. I never heard of Icaria coming to the school. I think that she's not even in the right community. Does she even live on our block? Is she even in? And I heard that you're not supposed to live in another neighborhood going to a school. I'm just saying.
Well, ma'am, listen, ma'am, I hate to inform you. I hate to inform you, ma'am, but your daughter just her GPA wasn't high enough.
Excuse me, her GPA wasn't high enough?
Her GPA was not high enough.
Well, no, Karen, didn't you say that there was a QPA? Well, no, her GPA actually was high enough. They said that Icaria, the girls that did get the high honors, they have QPAs and not GPAs.
Well, you know, and this is what we don't know. So we can't even finish the skit because they put this half story out here. We don't know, like, how do you register a QPA? What is a QPA? How long have y'all been using? Don't give me this half story out here.
No, man, it's a half story, and we have nothing to go off of.
We can't even finish the skit.
We literally read the whole entire story to you guys, and I know that you guys watching, did you get anything from it? Except black and white. They created something so that the white person can get the honors. They created something to give to the black kids that originally had it. Imagine being so proud as two black girls making history at that school, right? And that being taken away from you, and you still accepting what they gave you and still speaking before the graduation class. Because let me tell you something, Ben, before you say something, hold that breath, baby. Hold that breath. I was watching High on the Hog again yesterday, which you guys have to watch.
I watched yesterday too, by the way. Thank you.
Good. Ben, you got to get on it. And in the last episode, one of the chefs say on that episode and says, it's exhausting sometimes being a black chef and being expected as a black chef to be doing like all these luxurious things and to know so much, and especially for, you know, just as a black chef, they expect so much of you, but they think so little of you because there's not many black chefs. And he was basically saying, I'm tired of being going through so much. And what did we say? I'm tired of having to go through but not die from it, or whatever. We've been saying it's
whatever makes you stronger.
Kills you. Yeah, what doesn't kill you
make you stronger. Yeah.
And he was saying it's exhausting, but at the same time, it doesn't stop me from doing what needs to be done, from doing the work, because now I can put the narrative in my hand, and I have education about being a chef. I have the education, even though they're taking that from me and don't want me to be like, don't want me to be high on the hog. They only want me to be giving y'all soul food and all that. And as a chef, they want to keep me here. They want to keep them girls right here, the QPA. Never heard of a QPA, but they want to keep them here. They don't want them to be labeled as high honors, but they're good enough, right? But the girls still went out there and did their speech, even though it was taken from them. Because that's what we do. We keep on working through and keep on busting through and keep on moving through, even at the expectations of what these white folks think that we should be. And that, to me, shout out to them baby girls. I hope that they become, I know they're going to become everything they're supposed to become.
They're going to be good.
Oh, they're going to be
dope. Okay. Like, I hope every single school that they're
going to come through an old ladies, people.
Oh, amen. Amen. And I look, because those black girls are going to make history. Look, because they're going to make history. I believe that.
Are you selling these shirts?
No, I'm not, but I need to.
It is. You should.
I need to. But these white women are going to sit back and remember the day that they allowed their children to walk in white supremacy. So
I just don't. That shame on the reporters on this story, because they should have thrown in. But the overarching story of what you're talking about, Rebecca, is true. Those little sisters, they're gonna come out and they're gonna hit these. They gonna be a threat to the system. They're gonna be a threat to the system because the system messed with them, and the system messed with all of us.
Yeah. All of us for being black. Well, I didn't ask to be black, and I definitely am grateful that I am. Just look at us. Look at us.
Just look. At me.
Thank
Look
God
at
I'm
me.
black.
You think I would be able to come with a ponytail on today and then 30 inches on tomorrow and then like a bun with my natural hair and then like you think I'll be able to give y'all these curls naturally like this and then come with
on,
a straight?
edges.
Do you think that I could do that? Do you think that I would be able to have a long face like this? Beautiful cheeks like this, dimples like that show with light and no light. Do you think? do you think? No. Thank God for making me black. I'm very proud to be black. And then to be Haitian and speak another language, right? And then to have all these different cultures in us. Just like, thank you God for making us black. I don't know. I'm happy to be black, and I'm gonna be happy every day to be black because they made us feel that we were so inferior. And the education system they're still to this day making our kids feel like they don't deserve, that they are inferior, right? They're saying that black people who come here and do the jobs that none of the Americans would do, the ones that built the lay of the land, right? This country was built on the backs of black folks, and brown folks were the ones that been keeping it up like nobody's business, right? And was actually owned by Native Americans. Ain't nothing Caucasian about America. But they don't give none of the original America. And they don't give none. They took away the rights from each and every one of the groups that I just talked about.
James, they're the Borg. They just been out here assimilating gentrifying everything. Just everything. Resistance is futile. You know
right.
There will be a Starbucks here.
Okay.
You will have a Whole Foods.
A Whole Foods. And a Target. Y'all better not forget the Target.
We agree on Target.
It's a Target right here. You got to go up the street a little bit around the corner to get that Kroger, to get that one little sketchy Kroger, and then a little bit from it's sketchy.
Are the Borg.
But then you know how the Walmarts be hood. The Walmart by my place is so together. All of the carts don't have that.
The raggedy cart.
They are like
I'd be ready to fight those things.
Ready to throw the cart out the store.
Am I in public? This cart is giving what needs to be given. I'm cruising. You know.
Oh, that means that at your Walmart then they don't have like if you push the cart so far past the parking lot,
the thing lock up.
Oh, you're on the south side.
Definitely not over here.
Can't be homeless in that neighborhood, boy.
Okay.
You can't. They make sure you're not
gonna
be able to use their buggies.
I have a pathway from my place to the Target.
Lord, you done broke through the.
I know, no, they won't know because there's another Target somewhere else. But I have a pathway to my place to the Target that it allows you to bring your carts to the Target.
Shut up.
She done hacked the system.
So
what the hell?
How did you hack it? Because I done got stopped many a nights on them carts.
We're partnered with them. We're partnered with the Target. They allow you to bring it. That's how I know I'm living in a predominantly white area because when I was living in the when I was living in the Marietta, you could not take that cart nowhere. That Target was so hood. That Target,
you can't even go to your car.
Everything was locked up. Everything was locked up. Speaking of hood, yesterday at Lenox or 2 days ago at Lenox, a security guard was shot, right? A security guard was shot. Then a lot of things began to come out about Buckhead, which Lenox is in Buckhead. My former partner actually lives right across the street from Lenox, so I see the ghetto all the time. But this is in Buckhead. Buckhead crime rates has gone up, I think about 58%.
Wow. What is that?
Or something of that number. I don't know what that was just now, but 58%. And a lot of people are saying it over the weekend. There's been footage of Buckhead. Okay, perfect, David. Over the weekend, there was footage of what's been happening right over the weekend in Buckhead. I think it was 285 or was it 85 was shut down because a brawl had happened and a woman had got shot in the middle of 85. The street. This is what's happening in Buckhead, and they charging $1,600 for rent. $1,600 for rent. Hello, let's talk. Let's start looking at Buckhead for what it is now, the ghetto. Okay. You're talking about South Side. Buckhead is the ghetto, but go ahead and let's see let's see it in its visual aspect. David. Oh, if he's gonna shoot him, take that down because I get the heebie-jeebies.
They won't show it. They never show it.
Okay. So this is two people who went up to Lenox Mall is considered, you guys, one of the most dangerous places now to go to
Why
in
is he
Atlanta.
trying to defend that place?
It's, honestly, y'all, I really think these are a lot of people from out of town. A lot of people from out of town and these young kids. Though they're 15 years old. 15. Like, what the hell?
15, access to guns. That just gave me the heebie-jeebies. But yeah.
And it's gotten bad. And it's really started getting bad over the pandemic. Honestly. Lenox was never that bad. I've worked at Lenox before. Brother has. We used to go to Lenox all the time. And now it's just to the point to where, oh man, I don't even go in the area no more.
Yeah. There was I don't even, when you first came to visit back in the day, we'd be like, let's go to Lenox Mall, let's go take a walk. Let's go to 5 Points. You go to these different places here in Atlanta. And now, 5 Points is shut down. Basically, ain't even no 5 Points for real no more. Which used to be a shopping, like little strolling mall or whatever.
Yeah, underground.
I loved it. I used to love it. But now Lenox Mall, which was a staple, has now become something very dangerous for people to go to. I went to Lenox recently because I was waiting for my partner at the time to get to come out, right? And I'm like, let me just go to Lenox real quick. And as I went to Lenox Mall, pulling in, y'all, somebody got shot. I had to U-turn at the time. I had just U-turn my little Jeep. At the time, I didn't know where I was going. And then I see people fighting on the other side. A big brawl got out. I'm like, get me out of here. Get me out of here now. So me leaving, I pull up to his really, and he has a really nice, he has a condo and a very expensive one. I pull up there and they're stealing tires. They're getting access to the inside of the garages of these places and stealing tires. And if somebody even tries to fight them, or we saw what was going on during the most recent event that happened here in Atlanta. Was it the basketball joint or whatever? Was it All-Star weekend?
Yeah, All-Star.
So we saw what happened recently. They were doing that, but they're partnering with people who work at these places to break into people's cars.
Oh, and I'll tell y'all, it's much, much worse than this. Buckhead is bad. It's from downtown going up that way toward Buckhead now. It's like car break-ins where these people, like, I don't go down. When I tell y'all, I do not go downtown for the simple fact you park your car down there, you're going to take the risk of somebody breaking in your back window. And the thing is, they're not stealing like laptops or book bags and stuff out of there. What these kids or people are looking for are handguns.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
Right there.
And it's had happened to me before. Somebody smashed my window, my whole Nintendo Switch, laptop in the back seat, and they instead looking for a gun and took somebody else's book bag with nothing in it.
Yep. I used to live literally like 3 minutes away from Buckhead. And, I worked in Buckhead as well. And I had my car smashed and they took the purse. They were looking for something in my purse and then didn't take anything. They didn't take the money that I didn't have on the car. They didn't take the license. They didn't take anything. They were looking for either drugs or guns because they say a lot of people here will come and break into cars and looking for those things. Here's my thing about it. The policing that happens here in the community and the gun laws that aren't really a thing here. The accessibility to guns and the idea that policing a certain type of folk is what it is. They're missing out on this whole group of Buckhead. Buckhead was considered the white Mecca or whatever, and you got Midtown for the LGBTQIA plus community, the rich folks and this and that. Oh nah, people got money and they came down from wherever they came down from to go live in Buckhead, looking for a certain lifestyle, and just because it's Buckhead, it won't get treated as such. It won't get policed as such. And I'm like, y'all over here in Southside so much. Y'all over here in these different other areas, Bankhead so much. And this whole rhetoric that goes along with Bankhead, but yet Buckhead needs to be policed. I don't care if you're white or black, but because it's like a predominantly because the white affiliation that's there, because of the buildings that are constantly being built there, the gentrification that's happening there every second, they just feel like it's Buckhead. Let's just not. I watched drug transactions in his building complex, or they'll go there to do the transaction. They'll sit inside the garage there to do the transaction. I'm looking at security guards. I'm looking at police. They don't do nothing. Not a thing. Not a thing.
And then let me flip it on its head a little bit too. What it is now is the gentrification thing, because what's going on, had to say it like this, all the white people are moving to the South Side. East Point, Hateville, College Park, all of those areas now where it used to be predominantly black, now gentrified. West End.
They running in my neighborhood all of a sudden.
When you see them start running,
when I tell y'all they are running in places like I have never seen them run before in Atlanta.
And now,
I'm like, when did you get so comfortable out here, Susan?
Right.
Yeah.
Karen, what you doing out here?
Just bob the ponytail. I was like, oh, you feel real safe. I need to go out here and start shooting some guns or something.
Right. Get off of my yard. Who let you in?
Look, this may not be Wakanda, but we full of vibranium. This is not for you.
That's because T.I. said it was Wakanda. It ain't what. That part of Atlanta is not Wakanda. Atlanta is not really Wakanda, because Atlanta isn't even Atlanta. We had that of the South Fulton mayor on the show, and South Fulton seems to be more Wakanda than what people think is Wakanda.
Agreed.
And none of it is Wakanda, by the way. But if we're going to talk about the predominance of black folks, it ain't Buckhead. It ain't Midtown. It's not Alpharetta. It ain't Sandy Springs. Okay? It's not those places that people consider Atlanta and to be so black. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with living in those areas, especially if you have the money. But the overpricedness for if that's even a word, the overpricing of rent there, when you can get the same. Me and my ex had the same layout before he upgraded to the next building, but we had the same layout for our apartments. We had the same exact layouts for our apartments, and I paid almost $500 less than he does, and it's all because of location. Buckhead is doing the utmost. Literally, people are moving there, don't have the money, but want the idea and the stigma that comes with living in that place. And because it's predominantly black, they are taxing it. I'm saying predominantly because it's not predominantly black, but because Atlanta, right? And they think that Atlanta is the black Mecca. And when they think Atlanta, they think Lenox Mall. They think Lenox, they think Phipps, they think all of that. They think Midtown, Edgewood, they think those areas. And they tax it. That's still getting the black tax. There are white people who pay less rent that live out there because they've been living out there. And then they started creating these other buildings. And now these black folks are having to put down God knows how much money to get an apartment there, and then having to pay God knows how much money for the apartment there. But then you go to the white communities like where I live right now, and the secret is they paying nothing for the same building.
Yeah, it's hell of expensive to try to be black and have money. Like it's expensive to be black and be poor. But try to go from being poor to having money. Oh, they could bankrupt you.
Oh, yeah.
They'll put you in the ground. Don't be a black person to think you got a little coin, because they ready to take your coin. Yeah. But to everything that you're saying, there's something I recognized, like, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago. There's a 30-year cycle. And it is a cycle. I don't care if whatever you can call it, a plague. You can call it the cycle of gentrification, the cycle of colonization. But they're going to move back and forth between sides of town. Every 30 years. They on the north side, they come and colonize the north side, they get tired of it, and then they move to the south side. And then 30 years later, they flip it. And every time they flip it, They increasing the prices. They're displacing entire communities. This community done moved and shifted and got 30 years worth of experience now living on this. It happened in Boynton Beach, right? The beach side used to be predominantly black. All the white folks moved out west, right? 30-year cycle hit, and now all those people moving right back out towards the beach. The beach is now too expensive for black people to live in. It's the same thing that repeats itself all across this country. And it doesn't matter whether you're Lenox, Bankhead, Buckhead, or if you are in East Boynton, West Boynton. It doesn't matter if you're in, I don't know all the breakdowns in Mississippi anymore, but no matter what state you're in, you're going to see a constant cycle of a 30-year cycle of gentrifying. They're not going to just gentrify you once. They're going to gentrify you again in 30 years.
Every single where you pull up. So I'm going to reverse gentrify, and I'm going to call all my friends and family to come live where I stay at, because I feel like you deserve. I feel that you deserve. Come on, because let me tell you something. The way that, I know that it's still a pricey situation, but it ain't as pricey as me living out there. That's the only reason I don't go out there. I would love to be around all my black folks, but I'm like, why can't we also enjoy a place that is safe for us? Now, safe as far as me being black, I don't know, because we know. But why can't we enjoy something that's safe as well? Why can't we enjoy carts that we can take up to our building and the people come back down and roll them back down into the shopping plaza? Why can't we enjoy Walmarts, that don't lock up stuff? Why can't we enjoy? Why can't we enjoy
get a key for cocoa butter? Why I gotta get a key for cocoa butter? Y'all,
you know what I'm saying? And for cocoa butter, why can't we enjoy that? You guys put black tax on stuff, so it causes people to may have to steal because y'all over here overpricing on these products. So people just have to take and go. Let me tell you something. They're like, listen, I need this lotion that's $2. It's 2 blocks up, but I don't have any transportation to get there. So I'm going to definitely take that $2 and get what I need, and now you got to be locking up things. And it's like you make these communities, you take away from people, and you want them to suffer, and then you think that there's not going to be a reaction for it. And then for all of you guys who are coming to Atlanta, here go me and my Kamala. Don't come. Don't come.
Be packed. Don't come. We need some of y'all to go home. Actually,
it's full.
Truly,
some of y'all that's bringing the crime with you from your cities.
Wait a minute. Can I stay? Can I stay? Because I'm a transplant. Can I stay?
Look.
We good. I think all
this
us
is Kamala right here. This is what Kamala be telling the immigrants: don't bring your crime here. After we done mess up your whole state, wherever you may be from, because they'll go to Miami. Mess that, go there and just do all the BS. Go back to their nice homes after that and live nice. And oh no, Miami say, hey, we pulling up.
Don't do that to Atlanta. We don't do that in Atlanta.
Yeah.
What's up?
At least not on my side of the town, because
right.
Don't come.
Honestly, when I moved here, I honestly felt like I was moving to Wakanda. Because it was nothing but black folks.
It was beautiful.
Black at my grocery store, black in my neighborhood, black in the barbershop, black in the churches, black everywhere. Just everywhere you went was black.
Yeah.
And then here comes Karen running,
just
jogging, and it's been growing ever since. 30 years from now, this neighborhood is going to
have a Whole Foods. It's definitely, they're going to say we're making it great, and they're going to tell you, Ben, we no longer
you can afford to live here no more.
You can't afford to live here. That's what they do every month. The rent will go up.
Yep.
Right. The rent has already gone up where I live now, but it's still affordable for me, because if I go towards where I live, where it was predominantly black, and I'm just like, do these black folks not know that they can afford a living out on this side? Like, because where I was living before, they're giving them old rickety buildings and homes and with roaches and all that stuff for $300 more than what I pay here, right?
Wait, they charged more?
Yep, where I live in the Marietta, Ben, they charge more.
Wow.
They charge more. And
I guess it's like living in New York.
Area.
It's like living in New York versus living in the South.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy to me. And I'm like, but there's this quiet little corner that's, up north where everybody be like, oh, it's da-da-da-da, don't go move there, whatever. And then I come here and it's an up and coming area. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Why don't nobody else know about this? Is this? And I thought,
Right.
like, is this some kind of secret? Is this real? I had to ask the lady, is this real? Because this is a luxury apartment. This is real because you're telling me that I can afford this. Is this real? Like, I had to keep asking her, and she's looking at me like strange, because she ain't from here. She's like, I've only been here 3 months, and look, is this real, sis? Is this real? Because this same building company in Buckhead is almost $2,000. Is this real? So I constantly kept having to ask her, and I'm like, why don't anyone know about this? And I tell you guys all the time, people here, and yeah, I'm gonna hand it over to James, but people here,
I'm okay. I'm not pressed. It's okay. Go ahead.
Okay. No, it's David. David. I feel like David's yelling at me. But people here in this city that I live in the city a little bit before it, they literally act like nothing else is going on around them. They got that vaccine. Okay. As soon as they got the vaccine, they started dropping these masks. Okay. As soon as they started dropping these, like, they don't. When the whole George Floyd thing was going on, I mean, I told you guys I saw signs on the streets that were talking about Trump for president and that. But there was nothing here that fazed these people. I had to go to the Target and ask them for Black people products.
Yeah.
And they were telling me, we don't sell that here. And I had to get her together. Do you not sell it here at Target or at this location? Does Target not sell it? Or did you guys choose not to carry
this product?
And she said, she was like, I mean, I don't. Okay, sis, I got one for you. Target Corporation, you guys don't seem to sell at this location, and it's supposed to be da-da-da. Next month, that product has now been sold there. And I've been seeing the girls that look like me, about 3 of us, will go to the section and be like, girl, they got it here. Hey, girl. Yeah,
look at you, the Harriet Tubman of Black hair products.
Yes, I am. Right. Reverse gentrifying the heck out of this area that probably was Black before the folks that got here got here. So,
And speaking of the mask thing, you talking about that. Somebody just said in the chat, and I saw it yesterday as well too. Somebody got shot or killed yesterday for being asked to put a mask on.
Wow.
Worked in the grocery store, and they shot the cashier in the head.
Wow, man.
Because they asked the person to put the mask on.
The person pulled out a gun. Where was that
at? Here in Atlanta. Off of Candler Road, Indicator, y'all.
Indicator.
Indicator.
Do you see crime rates are going up? The pandemic done had people moving from their little areas into these areas, and crime rate is going up. It's probably already been bad, but it's going up. And now these white folks are saying they want to, was it succeed from Atlanta? They want Buckhead to succeed from Atlanta.
Yeah, I can go. Bye.
Deuces.
They don't want it to be a part of the Atlanta name because it's bringing in to them
so much crime.
But shooting somebody because you're asked to put on a mask. That's crazy. I just saw a video as well of a woman getting cussed out at Ross
about a mask.
And she was told, and look, she said, "You're racist." She's like, "I'm not racist." White woman, "I'm not racist. You're racist," to the Black woman. And then turns around and says, "You Black B." And then comes back in and starts to say more things disrespectful to her. And this is for a retail shop. This is for a retail shop that was open through the pandemic, where people had to get abused like this throughout the whole pandemic.
You know how, and I ain't gonna be long, but James, I'm just listening to you, Rebecca, and then just thinking again. Listening to Rebecca made me think again about what you just said, James. You know how utterly hyped up and cracked out you have to be to work yourself up to shoot somebody over a damn mask.
Over a mask, dude. Makes no sense.
A mask. Not you hit me with your car, and not that you took somebody out on my side. No. You asked me for a mask, and I got to kill you.
And like just sitting there at the checkout, you just scanning people. And the thing is, it would be different if she was the one that said something. The person behind the person is the one that said, "Hey, you need to put your mask on." And the cashier is just asking nicely, like, "Yeah, please put your mask on." So instead of them even shooting or doing anything to the person behind him or whoever it was, shot the cashier. Jesus! In the middle of a damn store, y'all. And this is not like it's at nighttime before they closing. This is in the middle of the damn day. So now there's just absolutely no regard for human life at all.
Trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. They don't care.
Atlanta has to do better. I mean,
I don't mean to cut you off, but it's all this is the same thing you saw over in all these other states. They go on the same mass shooting kind of thinking, and they want us to feel bad about the shooting in Lenox yesterday. It is bad. But I'm sorry, it's the opposite side of the coin of y'all mass shooters and your people who so obsessed with guns and they just got to go out and they got to, man.
Okay, Ben, take it there. That's the perfect point right there. Because what I was saying was Atlanta got to do better with all that's going on. How we doing with the pandemic? How we out here? Like, because we live here. I want to hold our people accountable. But Ben, that you flipped it on the side. Definitely, they want us to look at yesterday's shooting. They want to make that seem like, and the way they labeled it online was, hey, there have been a series of mass shootings. And I said, oh, was more than one person shot at Lenox? But that was one of the stories that came underneath the series of mass shootings. So now they're titling things that aren't mass shootings as mass shootings. And they don't want us to look at the mass shootings done by the white folks here in Georgia, here in Atlanta. They don't want us to look at that as a thing. You know what I mean? They want us to look at the crime rates. Look.
The same.
But what those white, Ben, you just said it. You just said it again. What though that white man did when he went out there to the massage parlors and shot down those Asians, right? We didn't see the conversation of crime rates going up. And now we're looking at it where the boy shot the security guard yesterday, which is still wrong. It's still wrong. The conversation comes up of crime rates in Atlanta.
Worry about all this violence, all these black people getting out of control.
Yes, and how Buckhead now wants to succeed. I mean, I was with it too. I'm like, look, y'all need to stop coming because since y'all been coming,
still can stay. They still don't have to come.
Yeah, crime has been. We already got crime here. Now y'all doubling, tripling the crime. Just stay where y'all at.
Y'all making it worse.
Damn,
stay where you
y'all
at.
making it worse.
Stay where y'all is.
Don't come.
If you're not coming here to better yourself or a better life for yourself, man, stay the hell where you at.
And
we don't need
if you ain't got the money to get back from Atlanta to Miami,
please don't
that
come.
Girl,
please
stay
don't
home.
Stay your ass where you at.
Because I ain't sharing your GoFundMe link. Now,
Girl, yes, and girl and guys, if you didn't bring more, sir. I was just talking about this with somebody yesterday evening, and we were talking about how it is in Atlanta, and he was like,
Rebecca, you're supposed to save James 5 minutes at the
I know, sorry.
Keep going. Y'all know it. Trust me. Y'all know I will say something. It's okay.
Yeah. So listen.
I'm trying not to get in trouble over here now. Okay, all right. So long as I'm in the clear. Go ahead.
How dudes be having on the Balenciaga draws, sleeping in the same Balenciaga draws 3 days in a row at Lenox. Just to show the Balenciaga sign, because they couldn't afford no other draws. They only could afford that one Balenciaga pair, and they had to come to Atlanta and live up to the lifestyle that's being projected.
Oh, you serious? You're not joking
online. I'm dead serious. Where my ex used to live, he lived, like I said, in these brand new condos, very expensive. Right downstairs, we could look out the window and see a mattress on the floor. No furniture. And then we thought, oh, maybe he's just moving in like you. Months passed by. No furniture. A blow-up mattress on the floor.
Now listen, I've lived on a blow-up mattress before, so
but not in a building that you can't afford. This is what I'm talking about.
Nah. I was
living above your means.
Well,
people come here and try to project this particular lifestyle, about Atlanta, and then you come here and you, like I said, you can't go to Lenox Mall with that one pair of Balenciaga drawers that you're trying to show while your pants are sagging. You want that Balenciaga to show, but you ain't got no other drawers for the week that you're here. None. You're sharing a whole Airbnb with about 5 other dudes because you can't afford it.
I'm
but
gonna
you
share
wanna
the
live the Atlanta
Airbnb with 5
lifestyle.
different dudes. I might still do that just because we hanging out. But if you ain't got enough
There's
draws,
nothing wrong. A two-bedroom Airbnb with 5 other dudes, no furniture. I'm saying we got to do better as a people. That cannot cut it.
stay your ass at home. Save your money.
Stay your behind at home and save your money. I don't care what people are telling you about Atlanta. Y'all, everybody does not live in Atlanta. Everybody lives on the outskirts. We might travel to go party. We might travel to go do whatever. But Atlanta is too expensive for us who live in Atlanta.
White folks can have that.
Oh yeah.
I'm staying out here on the outskirts. Y'all stay up there. Matter of fact, leave us down here. Y'all, we got enough of y'all
Don't get
around
it
now.
twisted. Don't come here trying to overspend and whatever. We don't live there either.
Okay. Child, y'all ain't got to try to prove nothing to us. It's
nothing.
You come down here with your Hanes draws and we okay.
As long as they clean.
And your Walmart socks, as long as they clean,
That's
you
it.
cool. We ain't got to prove shit to us.
Don't go renting a luxurious car that you may you can't that you're scared that may get scratched out here because it may get hit. People can't drive.
Stolen. They gonna take the tires, Rebecca.
They gonna take the tires off.
400 has been doing construction for 400 years.
For 400 years.
It definitely has.
That's why I don't drive nothing nice.
Don't come here with nothing nice. Don't come here expecting. Come here and just enjoy yourself. And it's okay to get an Airbnb outside of Buckhead.
Blend in.
It's okay. And it's okay to get a car and drive over 30 minutes. That's normal here. That's okay to go enjoy yourself. Okay. And it's okay to go eat somewhere else outside of Buckhead. You'll save money. You won't have to get a boot on your car and you won't have to pay for parking.
Hello. Right.
It's okay. It's okay.
Do your research before you come. And
please do. I know it looks nice on
not if you're
social
immigrant.
media.
Home.
Yeah.
If your immigrants come because we messed up your country, but if you in like Florida, don't come to Atlanta.
Yeah, no, but Florida is actually considered like the
South
island
Georgia.
of the Caribbean. Not the Caribbean. North Florida is
South Georgia.
South Georgia, and South Florida is the Caribbean. So whoever's in South Florida, I still don't want y'all to come.
That's it.
At all.
Y'all be running out of gas, running out of food.
In Maseratis, I used to see Maseratis being parked on the side of the street. I used to see Lambos parked on the side of the street because they ran out of gas or they could not maintain it because they wanted to maintain the look. Don't worry, guys. It's okay. You don't have to. We're already black, and that's beautiful enough.
So if in the content say they trying to be hood rich.
Hood rich.
Hood rich ain't got no clean drawers, sleeping on a blow up mattress.
Who is
in
that?
The middle
That
of
was
a condo that you can't afford.
Lil Wayne and well, who was that? Hood rich. I'm hood rich.
Ben, that's
Still Fly.
Yeah, that's I'm Still Fly. That's the Louisiana. What's his name?
Baby.
No.
Damn, Manny Fresh.
Manny Fresh, right?
Fresh. There we
Well,
go.
it's the name of the song's not Hood Rich, but the verse is about being
Gator boots in the pimped out Lucci suit.
There you go.
Ain't got no car, but I stay fly. Big Thomas, thank you. That's
Big
it.
Timers. Thank you.
Yeah.
I knew somebody knew it.
They always know.
I know the song. I ain't know the metadata on it, but I knew.
And
the
then
song.
the person that knew is Leroy Jenkins. Thank you, Leroy.
Leroy Jenkins.
I can't say no more. I'm about to say that's a good black name, but he could be white.
That's the blackest name. Leroy Jenkins. If you is white.
Leroy
Jenkins.
Don't let the sun go down in this town, and your name is Leroy Jenkins, and you ain't black.
Got everything in my mama name. He said, "Oh, that's what."
Well, you better be,
y'all, man.
You better be cognac and
What's that? Is that
black.
corporate calling me? What's that over there?
Well, Rebecca,
is that
and
corporate?
it's me. It's me. I don't
Wait,
want to go to
and was
corporate.
that-
I want
is
to
that
continue to
free?
have this. I want to continue to have this conversation with you guys. It's so great. You guys give me what I need. You guys give me what I need. Hey, merchandise coming soon from Like It or Not.
Yay.
Look, Ben, we haven't talked about it for real. But
I'm like,
merchandise
Rebecca
is
just be
coming
saying
soon.
stuff.
First things first, we got mugs coming up for y'all to be sipping while y'all watch our show because we want you to be in the vibe. We want you to be in the moment when you're watching our show. And also, we want y'all to get t-shirts. I want you to get whatever Bubba says as hell. Because, at the end of what Bubba's going to say, is going to say as hell at the end.
I'm mad as hell.
I'm mad as hell.
That's
Like,
James.
That's James. He was like, exactly as hell.
As hell.
Definitely add it at the end of everything.
Rebecca, you got your thing too. Like when Rebecca hadn't been paying attention, she'd be like, "That's crazy," and then James would be like, "It's hell."
That's crazy. That's because I tuned right on out. I had to answer this text message. I caught 2 things you said. That's crazy because Ben, what you said was.
And then you work your way backwards until you remember what we were talking about.
Then I'm back on the boat. Let's call it.
I'm over this chat room. Is he? Oh, I guess mine is. I digress. Somebody said mine.
Oh,
is
Ben
I
is
digress.
definitely. I digress.
Oh, goddamn, definitely.
Just the position. That's been just the pole. That's where I got it from.
Just the pole.
Benjamin Dixon. Dixon.
I'm trying to see if Leroy Jenkins is black. Hang on. That's what I want.
That's why I'm kind of stalled. I want to know my damn self.
Did you find him?
Leroy,
are you black?
Oh,
he's Puerto Rican. Oh, he's my light-skinned cousin.
I mean, that's even.
He's Puerto Rican. Puerto Ricans are black. Have you ever been?
Oh yeah,
I know. I'm just joking.
Like those Puerto Ricans, and you know, you got the white ones that just come here and J-Lo and pass. But no, I went to the Virgin Islands on a vacation. And
remember that note at the thing? It sounded like J-Lo sounded like a damn tornado warning.
We disrespected. No, that's exactly what it sounded like. That's exactly what it sounded like.
That's what she sounded like at the inauguration.
No, Puerto Ricans are pretty black. I went over to the Virgin Islands.
Wait, are they pretty black or pretty black?
No. I went over to listen to the story though. And then when we're out of here, it's 35. I got 5 minutes. I got 5 on it. No, I went over to Virgin Islands on a vacation, and while I was there, the Airbnb that we had. There was a guy.
Rebecca, you got so many stories.
Yeah, I know. There was this guy, and I forgot his name. What's his name? Jose. It was something pretty Hispanic, and he was like, and he was literally like black, and I kept looking at him, but he had an island accent, and then he just bust out in Spanish. So what we did, we just bust out in Creole, and he looked at us crazy. We looked at him crazy. We was like, black people speaking other languages. It's beautiful. And then he says, I'm black. I know you're looking at me crazy, but I'm definitely black. And my whole family, they came out of nowhere. They just black as hell.
They just appeared
out of nowhere. And then he said, no, a lot of us black people had to move from Puerto Rico and come here to the Virgin Islands and make space for ourselves here because we were accepted here.
Wow.
I said, hey, what a tidbit that I would never know.
Right. Rebecca, give a shout out to Egberto in your voice. Egberto.
Is he in the chat
right now? He's in the chat right now too.
Shout out to Egberto.
There we go.
Okay. So you gotta let that, or sometimes you could say Egberto. You know, it depends on how you say it, but you have to have that accent. Egberto or Egberto. Now, you know, it just depends. Now y'all be like Egberto. Egberto.
Egberto.
Hey,
I can't do it. I can't even do I can't even do it.
Oh, and shout out to Egberto for signing up to be a Patreon. Yo, thank you. I know that we didn't do our Patreon call today, but before we get out of here, if you are not a Patreon,
because Rebecca got another.
Bubba, it is in your hands. Bubba,
no, keep going, Rebecca.
We go. Me and Jay sit back. We quietly saying, how many more stories she go to?
I don't have any more stories.
We got a bet going on. We got a side bet.
If you are not a patron, I need you to definitely get on www.patreon.com/like it or not.
Oh man, I love it.
Look, did I say it right?
/like it or not. Yeah.
/like it or not. And you guys, thank you for getting us to 1K. Thank you for getting us to 1,000 subscribers. But guys, you know, let's do more. You guys did it. No. I'm happy you guys got us here, but it'd be so many of you guys watching. And if you guys
let me do the Umar Johnson.
Yeah.
Let me do the Umar Johnson. Where your checks at? No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Listen, right now, if you're watching right now, give. We need. If you watch,
you can't speak about liberation unless you're liberating these checks.
Exactly.
In the super chats.
Listen. Anywho, but thank you for the patrons, and I know that we weren't supposed to give a free show today. We got caught. We got carried away. But at the end of the day, we're doing this so eventually that we can be in a place where we can have these streaming and have our exclusive shows for the patrons. We're getting it together. But if you're not a patron already, please become one. All right.
The camera gave up.
She talked until the camera went out.
We were out of control today on today's episode, but please enjoy the Friday's episode on a Tuesday. This is Friday's episode on a Tuesday. I love you guys so much.
Play some closing music.
I love you guys so much. Please go. It always happens, and it's right on time.
Rebecca, the pastor that don't know how to say the benediction. May the Lord watch between me and thee. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Love you.
Love y'all. Mean it. Appreciate it. All right, shout out to everybody that tuned in this morning. Man, we greatly appreciate y'all. Oh my gosh, I will get the new patron list read off tomorrow, man. And the super chats, thank you everybody for your super chats today. And Jam Tune, Ginger Snip Snap, thank you for your Twitch comments, man. I'm gonna definitely get these read tomorrow. Woo. Y'all kept it going. And now it is time for work, unfortunately. So I'm gonna give y'all a few tunes before I get out of here, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy y'all morning, y'all enjoy y'all day. Like it or not.
You down. I got it. I know you need it. Love is it when you're around. Oh, please say that you believe it. 'Cause I don't wanna lose you. I hope you feel that way too. No, I don't wanna lose you. Baby, don't go. Don't go. When I get you back, oh yeah.
Again, y'all, we thank y'all so much for tuning in. Shout out to everybody that streams from Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, wherever you stream from. We appreciate y'all, man. Love y'all, mean it. We will see y'all tomorrow. Oh, when I get you back, oh yeah.